Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of the WindUp podcast brought to you by C4 Bag Company, Issa Cookie, and Ferrari Michelada Mix. This is our special edition Baseball Moms. On a Friday night from Midtown Pasadena in our brand new Kate Upton studio. So how's everybody doing tonight? I'm assuming good, right?
Great. Yes.
That's awesome.
Good. Well, listen, we are so happy that everybody was able to make it today. I will tell you this, and I told you this earlier, over 700, I'm going to say moms, right?
Yes.
Over 700 moms, I think, actually applied for the 5 spots. And so one's running late, so congratulations on making the cut. I think we may have a second one, Junior.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, but it'll be a little bit later on, probably before the NIT. So want to welcome you, Junior. You want to introduce everybody that's here today?
Yes. So thanks for everybody coming in. So check it out. This is who we have on our show right now. Sorry, it's because I'm posting something. So we have. I'm gonna go down the list. I'm gonna just share the mic, and I want you guys just to kind of say who you are, what team you come from, or if you're a free agent or whatever.
There's tryouts.
There's a bunch of tryouts. Okay, so I'm gonna hand it over. So Veronica.
Monica
Monica.
from Pearland Phantom Baseball.
Veronica Paniagua, and I'm the free agent.
Free agent, okay.
I got some offers in the works. Just FYI.
Get ready for this. Lori, I'm the grandma from the Channel View Crushers. Woo!
Channel View.
Yes!
I think we know where you're from now.
In the house.
Pasadena Legends Baseball.
Hey.
Elida Rivera.
Okay, Ellie, that's the Legends.
Yes.
Yes.
So you know
Legends
Junior?
Mafia. Yes.
Yeah.
You're Legends Mafia?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Oh,
I had to bring somebody from my crew,
man, I'll be talking bad about those guys. God, I don't
Make sure
even
you hit
know.
'em.
I've heard.
Man, whew, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, but regardless, thank you for showing up. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk. Okay, we're going to talk about baseball. But before we do that, hey, Junior, we have to thank Troy Gonzalez from, what is he with? Who is he with now?
Cidius.
Cidius.
Houston,
He said he was
Cidius,
making
USA.
moves, so I don't know who he's with now. But anyway, so we got to thank him from Subway for donating the sandwich platter. So we want to thank you, Troy. I know you're listening. I know you say you don't, but we all know you're listening.
Yeah.
Also, before we get started, Junior, we need to talk about, there was a comment on YouTube the other day.
Yeah.
All right. Usually I really don't, I listen to them or read them, but this one got me. So where's the camera at? So if anybody wants to come on the show and talk about your organization, please come on. All you got to do is call us, DM us, text us, whatever. You can come on. We have open invitations to everybody in the Houston area. Am I correct, Julio?
Yeah, you're right. And zero affiliation with anybody.
We are zero affiliated with anybody. Even though I'm a part of a team, I hardly ever even talk about the team, right? But here's the deal. If you want to come on, just come on and talk to us. We will put you on the show. Unfortunately, we're booked up all the way to mid-April. So, when me and Junior were talking about this last year, we started reaching out to people, right? And so everybody's like, oh, man, that's a dumb idea. And so then we came on the air and everybody started seeing us. And now everybody wants to come on, which is good, but we will get to you. But we're tied up to mid-April. So once again, we're not affiliated with anybody. We're not with FTP. We're not with I don't even know. And the funny thing is, Junior, we had our first people that we had was who? Dynasty North Shore?
Yeah.
Okay. And U-Trip and Be Elite.
Yeah.
And The Grind.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to come on and talk about your organization, hey, we're more than happy to come on, and you could come to our studio in Midtown Pasadena. And you could talk about it, and we'll chop it up, as Junior would say, and, the forum is yours. So I just want to get that out to everybody. Junior, you got anything to say about that?
Hey, man, you're right about that. So,
okay. Well,
that's all I got to say. Let's get it started.
All right. So the Mom's Edition, we've been waiting for this.
Yes, we are here.
Okay, so the first question I have, all right, and it's just going to be the first question, then everybody can start talking, and we'll have a discussion. But how is it being a baseball mom? It's fairly easy. Is it easy? Is it hard? Is it difficult? I'm not talking about, we don't have to talk about your personal lives. I just want you. How is it for you guys, for you ladies, excuse me. Eddie, let's start with you.
It's a whole new world, to
Is
be
it?
honest. Yeah.
Okay.
It really is. It's a lot. I'm sorry. It's a lot of like, you know, the whole baseball. You know, it's well, I'm the team mom for the Legends baseball.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a lot just in general of, you know, having your own life.
Okay.
You know, and the baseball in general, like you're just, you know, the going to each practices. You know, we usually practice 3 times a week, and you know,
3?
Yeah, 3 times a week.
Ooh, Junior.
And we have our tournaments.
Junior, 3 times
Yeah.
a week, bro.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
okay.
Grind till you
Good.
sign, bro.
Man, God,
Yeah.
dog, I'd be
I mean,
tired.
It gets crazy. It gets
Okay.
hectic, you know. But you know, it's all for our boys. So,
So how do you balance going 3 times a week along with doing
homework.
and everything else? Yeah, it's
Um,
tough, right?
It's tough. I mean, but it's like I guess you get in the schedule. You just
Okay.
kind of go in the routine and just you know, you already know, hey, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you have practice, and you know,
Just go from there?
Yeah, you go from there. You kind of get used to it.
Okay.
But it's a lifestyle. It's what
It is definitely a lifestyle. That's what I
yes.
tell people all the time. So that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
How about you, Lauren?
I'm completely different than these moms because I've done this one time before, and my kids are grown and out the house. I'm a grandma now. We're empty nesters,
Okay.
but our grandson is. My daughter can kiss my butt when I say this, but he's our baby, and so we don't miss a practice, and we practice the same thing 3, if not 4 days a week,
Wow.
and we don't miss a game. And there's sometimes weekend games that are Saturday and Sunday all day long. We just played last Sunday 4 games. And
Okay.
so we never imagined being empty nesters and having our free time. Instead, it's 5 days a week in a ballpark. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Good, good. Well, I'm gonna later on I'll ask you if you really mean that.
Yeah.
Right. How about you, Mel?
Like they said, it's tough. I'm there for each one of my son's baseball games. I just saw him, so I'm like,
Oh.
smiles.
No, that's fine.
I think it's really hard to balance it out.
Okay.
I'm thankful. I'm a single mom. I'm very thankful for my parents, especially my stepdad. He helps me out a lot with Jonathan, getting him to practice. If I can't make it, you know, I feel like a huge responsibility on me to be at every single game, just because I am the parent.
Right,
You know?
right.
I have to be there for him, and I have to show him that I support him in whatever he chooses to do. It's tough. There is no me time, right? Like it's
Yeah.
work, baseball field for practice, or baseball field all weekend for games. I don't mind him picking up. You know, a lot of times people call me and, can he pick up? I ask him if he wants to go and play. He says yes. I'm not gonna deny him, even though I'm tired and stuff. I'm like, hey, if that's what you want to do, let's go do it. Mama thought she was gonna get a break this weekend. I guess not, but hey, let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough, but just like they said, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I mean, baseball has taught my kid a lot, and we've seen a lot, we've gone through a lot, and I think it's only going to help him in life because he's gone through a lot at such a young age, and he's had to learn.
I
a
would
lot.
agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. Mr. Menace, how about you?
Okay, so I have a 3-year-old that is always running around the park, and he makes it a little bit challenging to be at the tournaments, but our team, everybody, I'm keeping the book, and everybody else is watching Correa. And like they said, baseball is life. Like, we joined at 4 years old and haven't looked back since. And exactly what you said about people asked to pick up. If he says okay, and I know last week it was on the podcast about, why are you asking your kid if they want to pick up? It's up to them. Because if they don't want to
Yeah.
go out and perform, why are we going to go and waste our money or time or whatever out there?
That's
It's
true.
a long Sunday. It could be a long Sunday. And, yeah, it's challenging. We just finished a gun raffle, and I'm team mom, so I have to make sure all the books are correct. I send out an Excel sheet to them and say, hey, this is what we have in our account. It's just a lot of work.
A lot of work.
A lot of work.
Well, being with that, a lot of work. Let me ask you a question. Well, let me ask everybody a question, okay? When it comes to the particular team in general, does everybody get along with everybody on y'all's team?
We do. Channelview does. It's our extended family.
Okay.
And we honestly, we're a new startup team, so we all came from different areas. And I have to say one thing: the coaches give 100%, and their wives, who have to give up their time with the family as
Correct.
well, give it all up. But all of us as parents do the same thing. Like we're coming straight from work. we're going to the ballpark and we're staying there. We're going home and doing dinner and homework late, and you know what I mean. But yeah, we all get along really good.
Well, we should screenshot the Channel View Crushers because that may not be the norm. I'm just saying.
Yes, screenshot 7 under and 10 under because we love each other.
But how about Ellie? How about you?
It's the same for us. I mean, we've actually had about 8 players, and we've been 3 years with 8 players.
Really? Okay.
That we have. You know, we've gotten up to our 12 players, but I'm saying like the 8 have been with us for about 3 years now.
Okay.
And I mean,
that's impressive.
We're family, you know, that's what we always go. That's our motto for our team. You know, we're family.
Do y'all hashtag Legends Mafia? Like as much as Junior does?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. I'm just asking because that's all I see is Legends Mafia, and I don't know. So I just thought I'd ask.
Come on, man.
Hey, I'm just okay. So I know you're a free agent, but on your previous teams, how was it?
My last team, we got along well. I didn't have any issues with any parents, but I will say that it hasn't always been a happy experience with the teams.
Okay.
No, I have had some real rough relationships in the past with many of the past.
With the parents?
Parents, coaches.
Okay.
I actually wanted, and I was hoping, because I'd like to know, my son started off in select ball when he was 7.
Okay.
And I was interested in knowing and hearing from other parents or, you know, moms, how did y'all guys, you know, find out about select ball? Because it's crazy, and the reason I bring it up is, you know, last season we were fundraising, and I went to our local Little League that has this big opening parade, you know, every spring, and I'm like, hey, can we get a table? You know, we'd like to, because anyone's welcome, right? You can be a vendor and sell anything. And I'm like, it'll be a great opportunity to fundraise for us, right? And they're like, no, because you're a travel team, and we know that you guys come and steal kids and blah, 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 right? And I'm like, well, that's funny you say that, because I didn't know anything about select ball. I found out about it through Little League, through your own coaches.
Okay.
So, you know, it's not we're coming to steal your kids. The coaches are already there, and they're already pushing kids off to select ball.
Right.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot. So, and you have some of those coaches that double dip in Little League and also select baseball. So I can kind of see where they're going because, and we had, I think it was episode number.
Little League happy.
Exactly. As long as they go to Williamsport.
Not me.
But other little leagues across the city and across the state and across the country are struggling.
Yeah.
And so they got to figure out exactly how to find that balance where you don't lose players, but you keep players and try not. So it's, you know, but that's something for Little League to figure out because select baseball is only getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
It is.
And so I don't know how many teams are in Houston. Do you remember how many teams were in
Man,
Houston?
we counted it. It was like 1,500.
Yeah.
Was it about that?
I think we talked about that in one of the episodes.
Yeah,
About
it was
15
over
It
1,500.
was over 1,500.
So when you figure 1,500 times, let's say 10.
Right.
You know, that's and that number may be off.
Yeah.
Because that's what just you trip. That's not you. That's
I'm
not
not- I didn't
nations
count
and all
nations,
that. Okay,
no.
yeah. So they're so it's somewhere around there. Okay, so you know. And how about you, ma'am? How's
Our team has been together, 3 years now? And like she said, the core is been kept together. We haven't had to post a tryout for this season, so everybody's coming back, which is great. My sister's in the room, and she left us for another team, which was bittersweet, but it happens. It's like
you know what? I'm
a
sorry.
business transaction.
Okay, but okay. So I forgot. You know what?
My
I
bodyguard.
apologize. Yes,
My bodyguard is in
she
the
introduced
room.
herself as the bodyguard today.
Yes.
So I'm sorry. So the bodyguard is off camera. Actually, she's in the Cabo Real corner over there.
Yeah,
So
over here with me.
So we're not going to show you.
Pearland Little League.
Is she really? Oh.
So she had to choose between Select and Pearland Little League because my
Okay.
kid, we live in Rose Sharon, and the only Little League we have is Alvin,
Okay.
and he's just not Alvin Little League material.
Okay.
I mean, he's higher than that is what I would say.
Okay.
But
You go, girl.
so he can't play Pearland Little League,
Yeah.
and if he could, I don't think we would go that route.
Okay.
It's just something that we've already talked about and said no.
So is everybody here happy with their select ball team and the select ball process, how you know it, or how far as it's going right now? Is everybody?
Live and learn.
Very,
Yes.
very happy.
Okay,
Came
very
straight
happy.
out of T-ball to select ball, and it's a whole different world.
Yeah.
Okay, because some people don't have the positive experience that some of you ladies are having here at
Yeah.
the table, and so so that's why I asked the question, because there's, whether it's coaches, whether it's other moms, other dads, or whatever, there always seems to be some disharmony amongst the teams. And we hear a lot. I mean, you'd be surprised at all the DMs that we get about some stuff. We don't even air 75% that we're told, because we really can't
Chickens.
we really can't verify it. I mean, and then it becomes a job to try to verify the room. I mean, I've been a part of teams where teams have broken up just because two moms didn't like each other, or two moms, two dads don't like each other,
Yeah.
or
An
two
affair?
moms, two dads. What's that?
An affair happening
Oh,
in a
okay.
team.
Well, I was fixing to get there. Okay.
Not my team, but I heard.
and we
We ain't having that in Channelview.
No, not having none of that.
Someone's going to jail if an affair happens with the Crushers. We don't play that.
Well, I will tell you this. I am so glad that I didn't ask that question that it just came out. But seriously, Junior, I mean, sometimes, I was a part of a really good team when I lived in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
And segue into, I was also involved with a really good cooking team. That was when I lived in Arlington. I lived in Arlington. Okay. So what do you know? Baseball team broke up for that. Cooking team broke up for that. And I was left teamless. And it almost happened simultaneously with 8 different people that didn't know each other. So it happens. And, it just happened. So having said all that, I'm not going to ask anybody here about y'all's teams. Unless, of course, y'all want to talk about it. But, I think we'll just move on to the next one. How about you? What do you think, Junior?
Man, it's crazy, man.
I'm talking about the Crushers any day.
Okay.
I think a lot of it has to do with paid coaching, because I'm not a paid coach.
Ooh.
Legends isn't a paid
I'm not.
coach. You're not a paid coach.
No.
You're a free agent.
But I'd have to disagree with the paid coaching thing.
But I think that's where a lot of the tension.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
I have to
You think your
disagree with
kid's
Okay.
that.
better than the next.
Okay,
and
so let's
they-
segue into paid coaches. What's everybody's opinion with paid coaches? I think I know y'all, so let me start with you. Ed.
Yes.
Well, for our team, we've all, been volunteers.
Okay.
And that's the way that it's been. And even if we've offered to pay, like one of the coaches, they refuse. It goes down to our players.
Okay.
So that goes into our fundraiser money.
Okay.
Instead that we use it for the boys, and but it's all volunteers, including myself.
Including yourself?
Yeah,
Well,
team moms.
we commend you for that. How about you, Lark?
Same thing with Channelview. We use the Channelview Little League field, and our coaches go out and they actually clean the fields,
Okay.
so we can use the fields. And we don't pay monthly fees like people do.
Okay.
Our coaches do it out of the kindness of their heart because they love the ball game and they love their kids are in the ball game. And I hear people paying fees, and I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
We beat people that paid fees. Y'all lost your mind. And we do fundraisers, and we've made it with our fundraisers. And
Okay.
so I don't understand where people are paying these high fees, because we have great coaching. We have someone, Gio, Chris.
Oh, here
I'm gonna
she
give
goes.
all their names. Gio, Chris, Jesse, Drew. They have families. They come out 3, if not 4 days a week and leave their families to spend time with us. And then the other days off that they're not with us, they're cleaning the fields out to use the fields for us. So all the fees, like if y'all are caught up in that, y'all are being suckers, because there's teams out there that don't charge all that.
Well, I have a
Yeah.
question.
And we're one of them.
Now that you mentioned that, do you know if they pay for the actual fields?
No,
Like
they
for
don't.
the field rentals?
No, where we're at is a little league field.
Okay.
And so they tell the board, well, because they used to coach the little league field.
Uh-huh.
Now that they're select ball, they're not little league. They told the coach, hey, if we go clean the fields and rake and everything else, can we
Yeah.
use the fields? And they let them. And that's what they do. So on
That's
the
nice.
days they're not doing practice, they're cleaning the fields for us to play.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
so
that's
we're
nice.
explaining to the team,
That
they're
is
giving
nice.
their hearts to this, man.
Yeah, that's nice. But unfortunately for our team, here in Pasadena, they don't rent the fields for. Here in Pasadena, they don't rent them, but we actually have to rent them in LaPorte.
Right.
So we do have to pay for our fees.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
have to charge our dues, monthly because
So you do
we have
fundraisers
to.
or
We charge our monthly dues, and the
Okay.
fundraisers is usually for our World Series. Yeah, during the summertime.
if I told y'all our monthly dues, y'all would fall on the floor because our team does not charge, and we have great people. And
Well, that's
even
good.
even our 10 under, we have one 10 under, one 7 under team. Our 10 under team, who's coached by Baldy, he's even a great pitching coach for people and batting coach. He don't charge either. Like, these people are giving their hearts and souls to baseball, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Is sometimes when I hear these people paying, I pay $300 a month for what?
Yeah,
For
that's
what?
too high. That's
Ours
too
isn't
high.
that bad. Yeah, that's way too high.
too high.
Yeah, that's way too high.
You know?
How would you, Veronica?
What were we talking about again?
I fell asleep.
No, paid coaches. I've been on a team where they had paid coaches. We did not pay for the coach. I've been on a team that was sponsored, and the sponsor paid the coach. I gotta tell you, that was probably one of the, two best coaches that we have ever had.
Yeah.
Ever had. And the reason for it is those paid coaches did not have kids on the team. They didn't have kids on the team. And they focused on the kids. Now, it's sad because there were awesome coaches, but we left the team because of other things like parents, parents that have relationships with the sponsor. And that's the other thing y'all didn't mention.
But what does it have to do with your kid? I don't get that.
What does it have to do with what?
If a parent has a relationship with a sponsor.
Oh, because they're gonna sit there and favoritism and
Okay, yes,
influence,
okay.
try to
Okay.
influence.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's
here's the
true.
thing.
No,
That's
I was
true.
saying explain it. I didn't get it.
Okay, so
Thank you.
here's the thing. Like, the coaches were awesome, but the coaches are getting paid, and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the coaches are gonna have to listen to what the sponsor is saying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they're great, sponsors, but a parent comes and says, hey, I think y'all should be doing this and that, and then that
Then they wanna do
sponsor
it.
will come
Yeah.
and tell the coach, hey, you need to make this move, and of course there's the sponsors that say we leave that to the coach. We have no say so,
Oh, yeah,
but
that's
that's
a
not
mess.
true.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
they're going behind telling the coach,
Yeah.
you need to do this and that because my buddy is saying that it works better like this, right?
Okay.
So that was, an issue with that. But the coaches themselves, awesome coach. I still have connections, relationships with those two coaches. Those coaches have given more to my son than any other coach that we've been in. And again, they stayed connected with my kid. They'll call him. Matter of fact, one of them trained him to be a catcher. And y'all don't talk about this team, and it's kind of crazy. They're an awesome team. They're called Apex, and I know y'all read them off one time. If they want they're 11. They're 11U. Come spring, I guess they'll be 12. They're Apex. Those coaches, they're awesome coaches. And again, one of them took it amongst them to train my son to be a catcher. He had never been a catcher ever. There was politics behind there again with parents and owner and all this and say so and who's going to play where or whatever. Which, by the way, I think that's dumb. I'm just gonna put it out there. I think every kid should be playing more than one position. I think every parent should make it a point that their kid learn more than one position. None of this, my kid's a second baseman, my kid's a shortstop or whatever. They only play shortstop, they only play second base. No. Let me tell you what. I have a friend whose kid went through select ball. He got to college and all that. His whole entire career, right? He played second base. He was an awesome second base player. He got to high school. Guess what? There was somebody that was better at second base than he was. So when
Happened with my kids.
So when he went out to try out, the coach says, "Hey man, you're a good player, but can you play something else? Because I got this
There's 90
kid,
other second basemen to try out.
I got this kid that's a better second baseman."
Yeah.
And he's like, no, he goes, well, you better learn something real quick or else you're not going to be on this team. So
Right.
they told me that, and I take that to heart. I'm like, you know what? My kid is not going to, ask me what my kid is. My kid is a utility player. He plays
Good job.
catcher, he pitches,
Yeah.
second base, shortstop, out, left field, center field. He's
Yes.
played it all except
Good
for third
job.
base.
Yep.
And again, these coaches that I'm telling you, the paid coaches that you're like, one of them taught my son to be a catcher. Everywhere my kid goes, he's 10 years old, he plays up, and then sometimes he comes down and plays his own age. And everywhere we take him, they're like, who taught your kid to catch? He's an awesome catcher. And again, we still have relationships with those coaches. Those coaches check in on him all the time. The other teams I've been on, they've had kids on the team, or they've had the coaches have relationships with a coach that's gonna sway them. Hey, I want my kid to only play here. I think it's the dumbest thing ever for you to limit your kid to one position.
I got something on that, but Junior, why don't you introduce our new guest?
All right. So she got here a little late, but she's here.
Traffic.
Traffic. We have Trish. Patricia, what do you want us to call you?
Yeah, Trish is cool.
Trish is cool.
Yeah.
So I've been knowing Trish for a little while now, and she is. If y'all think Mo is bad, I'm just playing. No, but she's here. Thanks for coming, and I thought you'd be pretty good with the rest of the group that's here. So
Yeah.
What team?
We play with the Prospects 10U.
Yay.
Okay, cool.
So Trisha, they said there was 700 women that applied besides us, and we won from the evening gown competition. So congratulations on that.
I figured Junior was going to bring the lady that went on the field to go yell at the other coaches.
No, it was too far. It was too far. But I think she's calling in.
well, she just wrote me, Nicole. She said that she's at the hospital. She can't call me.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
So we're gonna call her out. But
She's in labor?
I just told her, I was like, hopefully everything's okay, because but
Maybe she's in labor.
I don't know.
Tell her to call us live. We can do it both live. With
Somebody
the
call
first
Flash. He might know. I don't know.
Yeah, Flash will know.
Was she pregnant first?
Well, I have a question for you, because it's something that you brought up right now about kids playing only one position. Because, and me and Junior had this conversation. When did we have it? Yesterday? Today? Okay.
It was yesterday.
Okay. So I talked to this guy. First of all, every dad thinks their kid is the best shortstop, the best second baseman, best everything, as they should. I'm not here to
Every grandma too.
Okay. Well, every family member thinks that. And I'm not here to disparage that. I'm not here to but what I will talk about is, so I had this conversation with this guy about a team, and I was like, hey dude, I think you should go play with this team, because I think you can help them. First thing he tells me, is my son gonna play short? I said, nah, son not gonna play short. I said, he'll play short, but he's not gonna be the shortstop.
Yeah.
Okay, is my son gonna play second base? He will play second base, but he won't be the second baseman. He goes, man, dude, he said, bro, where do you think my son can play? I said, honestly, in high school, your son's gonna be an outfielder.
Yeah.
I said, he said, no, Steve, no. He's not gonna be an outfielder. I said, dude, he's gonna be an outfielder. I said, I'm just telling you right now, why don't you give him the reps right now, so then when he gets...
Which is a good position.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When he's in 14, 15, when he's a freshman in high school playing Mickey Mantle,
Yes.
he can play. I said, so not only will he be able to play short and second and maybe even third, but then now he can play outfield. Now he becomes versatile.
Right.
Or versatile, however you want to say it. But what that does is that opens him up to the coaches, because high school coaches don't give a shit about what happens in select baseball.
Nope.
They really don't care.
No, they don't.
We've had them here on the show, and I point blank asked them, I said, do you care what team they play on, what classification they play on, how many tournaments they won, if they're USSSA All-American, a PG All-American, do you care? Flat out, no. Okay? So once I told him that, he's like, oh, man, my son's a shortstop. I'm like, okay, well, if your son's going to be a shortstop, well, then maybe you shouldn't go play there. But to your point, I think all parents, all dads and moms need to be open to it, because when you get to high school, they don't care.
Nope.
Yeah.
They don't care, because they want to see exactly what's happening right then and there. So you get you get a 2-day tryout, supposedly, right? Okay. So if your son does not perform well in that 2-3 day tryout, he may not make the team. Yeah. So again, guess what happens? So at 14 years old, he's not playing baseball anymore. He's got to wait till the summer. So now we're February, March, April, May. He's waiting 5 months to play. And that all could have been avoided if he just played multiple positions.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I'm with you on that one. I don't think parents get stuck into this, my son is the shortstop and is the best shortstop. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you right now, we have this discussion all the time with our shortstop on our team. The kid is legit.
Yeah.
He is like really, really good. He's one of the best 12-year-olds that I've seen play. All right. So my conversation with him moving forward, and I've done it since 10 years old. I said, man, you need to learn how to play center field because you're going to play center field.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I don't think so. I'm like, we'll just wait and see. And so that's just a conversation that we're having. But, these coaches need to be honest with these kids too, and not just keep them at a position just so they won't leave, because you're not doing anything to those kids. You're actually hurting them, and you're stunning their development. So I just wanted to touch on that because that was a very valid point that you made right there.
See, and I honestly don't get why everybody is stuck on these positions, shortstop, second base. I really don't. I mean, you look at MLB players. Mookie started off as short. Where is he at right now?
Yeah.
In the outfield.
Right.
Bregman was at short. Where is he at? He's on third base. You gotta give the kid, if you want them to play, you gotta give them an opportunity, right? You gotta teach them more than one position, and that's the way I see it. And that's when we're looking at teams. That's one of the things that I look at as well. Are you developing the kid for multiple positions, or do you only have your core and that's it? You want to, in my opinion, again, it's just me, right? In my opinion, you want a great team. You need those kids, each and every one of those kids, to have more than one position so that you can rotate them out for different games, different innings. You're not overusing them in one spot. You have kids that, they have one pitcher, one team has one pitcher, they pitch, and then like, well, he's out. Okay, go ahead and put him in catcher because he's our great catcher too. Dude, he
just threw
pitched.
300 pitches that day.
You have to though, because we've played games where we've only had 9 kids and we're playing kid pitch. So when they start swapping out pitchers, you have to be able to go to a different position.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, each kid, another thing, each kid needs to learn to pitch as well.
Not every kid's capable.
I know.
Practice is for.
I know they're not all capable, but you at least got to help them and try to get
Well,
there,
I
right?
agree.
Throw
More
10, we'll
arms,
put you in for
better,
10.
right?
See, but that's how I am with my son. Like, I tell him, you can have fun pitching now. I don't see you a pitcher only when you go to high school, or even pitching when you go to high school,
Right.
because you're better at other positions. You have to know what you're better at, and mine prefers to catch. Don't get me wrong, he would like to throw a whole game, but you still have to pitch. But go on ahead and get it out of your system now, because every little boy wants to get up there on the mound and throw the ball and everything. But, I've seen kids that play baseball, and it's like, your kid should be in soccer. I'm so sorry. Like, just be honest about it. You can't make them play baseball because you like it. But, it just really goes into, they should all pitch, especially when you come to play a higher competitive level. You need as many pitchers as possible, because your best pitcher might throw like crap on Sunday. You might come against a team. We played Adidas Major. Every pitcher that we put on the mound, we could throw inside, outside, high, low, left, right. They hit. It didn't matter who we put in there. So pitching is good, but it's crazy sometimes what you see from coming out of children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
We have kids on our team that I've seen that they try to throw as fast as some of our heavier throwers, and it's like, okay, you're going to throw your arm out trying to compete, but then we have the slower pitchers that do better because nobody can catch the timing too. So everybody is important in that aspect of the game.
Yeah, as you get older and you start moving up levels from AA to AAA, and then when you go to major, then you need, if you have a 12-man roster, you pretty much need 12 people to
you need 12.
to play.
Step the game up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you go to these major tournaments like, let's say the Elite, okay, which is a whole week-long tournament, or the Perfect Game, which is another week-long
have to
tournament,
have arms.
then you got to have arms, and you got to have a roster of 15, 16, 17. And some people are going to sit, and some parents, okay.
Well, I've seen a lot of travel teams that pick up kids that can hit when they go to big teams like that, but then you get out there and you're hitting, but you can't shut anybody out. So it's just tie and tie because you didn't actually bring in extra pitchers.
Yeah. No, I've seen that too. And I tell people, at a big tournament, if we have a 15-man roster, we have 12 pitchers.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm talking about 9 legit pitchers, and then the other 3 are like, if legit's right
Back
here,
up.
then it's like right here, And it all depends on the day too. I mean, just because you're a good pitcher on Tuesday, you can have a rough outing on Friday.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it just all depends. So, but that's the reason why you carry a little bit more, just in case that happens. And so, so the development part of it is really, really big. And as you ladies move forward and start moving up in divisions, you'll start seeing, once you become 15, 16, 17, there's 25-man rosters out there.
Yes.
And some just go for pitchers only.
Yep.
Right.
And and then your son may play, he may not play.
That was a big awakening thing for mine because I actually took him when we played football. We played out at Katie Morton, and they had their baseball teams that would come out. And I was like, hey, let's catch a game after practice. You know, the bigger boys are playing. And he'd be like, oh my God, Mom, there's like 60 kids in the dugout. There's no way only 9 can play. Like, I was like, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah,
You're going to be
yeah.
in there,
On the
you know?
team.
Yep.
Hey.
Yeah,
Right, you got a jersey. You know?
Yeah, no, and you see that. I mean, and especially, so high school is going to start here in late January, right? And so we're close to Pasadena Memorial, right?
Yeah, Pasadena
So
Memorial's across the street.
They'll probably have about 19 kids on the team. I mean, only 9 can play,
Yeah.
and so the other 10, 5 are shagging fly balls. Maybe one is I don't know, maybe doing GameChanger, or taking a book, or maybe it's a coach, or who knows. But I mean, but you have all those other roles.
Hey, who on this table does GameChanger?
I get anxiety. I keep the book. That's the GameChanger.
Okay.
I do the GameChanger. No, I'm not putting that everybody got triples and doubles.
Are you sure?
Are you
No,
sure?
no, I'm not.
Also, I just
Let's
found out
pull
that
it.
people actually argue about that.
Yeah, they
Yes.
I be drunk, so I don't know.
But then one of the coach gives you a roster that says Flacco or Gordo or I'm like, no, I can't do GameChanger. You don't give me the right names. Who's Flacco? Oh, the skinny guy? Okay. I've had that done, so I gave up on GameChanger.
Yeah.
You know, like I said before, I was kind of like with you when we first started this. I didn't know how big GameChanger really was and how big of a deal that was. Excuse me. Until I got here, and then man, it's just huge. Well, maybe because it hasn't been a big deal on our team, but as we started talking about it, man.
I've heard that the coaches really like it though because it's self-explanatory when you're asking why your kid is batting ninth.
When you do it correctly.
Right.
When you do it correctly,
Yeah.
yes, it is a good tool. But you rely on the person and their baseball knowledge to, is that a hit or is that an error? And then you know, so it's up to the discretion of the person who's actually putting it in.
If it's catchable, it's an error.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
Well, Junior would disagree with that.
It's an error.
Come on, man. Now we had like 30. We had like a 13-man roster last year, and like 9 of those kids were batting like 800. I was like, come on, man. Like that was crazy.
Right.
Yeah. So you know, so GameChanger has kind of changed how people, or excuse me, how kids are perceived. Because you can't have really 700 batting average and you never get on base. I mean, but we've all been a part and we've seen that happen. I mean,
Yeah.
and you know, some people will say something about it and some people won't, and you know, it just keeps on. It kind of manifests itself, and then before you know it, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you start getting dissension among the parents because, hey, listen, we all know if your son is hitting. We all know if your son's hitting, everybody here. We all know because we all see the games, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so if my son's not hitting and he's still batting third, then I know half of the table over here is talking about my son. Man, he shouldn't be batting third.
Why is he third batter?
Exactly, right? And then the flip side of that, if your son's not, we're over here talking about it. So, you know, everybody talks about it. So, you know, people out there doing GameChanger, just do it correctly.
Adrian.
Hey, I try to do it correctly. Like my kid makes an error, I'm gonna put he made an error. You know, I'm not gonna sit there and say, oh no, you know, especially if he's catching. If it was something catchable and he got by him, it wasn't a wild pitch, buddy. You
Right.
missed it, okay? And he'll be like, Mom, no, you missed it.
Right.
It's pass ball on you, okay? That you don't help the kids by lying.
By lying.
You don't.
Baseball is a game of errors, so I mean,
Exactly.
it's not, somebody's gonna make one somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
I tell my son the same thing when he bats. What is the difference between the kid that striked out and you that just flied out to right field and got out? Y'all did the same. You might have hit a big hit, but at the end of the day, neither one of y'all got on base, and that doesn't help the team.
Yeah, that's true. Now, when you do GameChanger, you got to be really committed. You got to be paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
You can't have nachos. You can't.
Well,
you can't have a hot dog.
You can't drink wine.
I'm drunk. I need to go to the bathroom.
I mean, you got to be really committed and into the game because if not, some of those stats
Oh,
get
yeah.
jaded a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, don't talk to me. They're like, what'd you do? No.
But I like GameChanger because you don't have to ask every 5 minutes, hey, what's the score? Or, hey, what was that? Like, it's all there, you know?
Yeah.
If they're updating it.
Hey,
Exactly.
If
If it's
they're
done right.
updating it.
If
Right.
it's done
You're
right.
right. There are people that do GameChanger and they're asking
They forget.
everybody left and right, well, what was that or what happened? And I'm like, aren't you doing GameChanger?
Yeah. They need to find another person for that.
And then I like it because when my kid is pitching or even other kids
Keep
are pitching,
track.
whatever, you keeping track of that. You
Right.
keeping
Yeah.
track of how much they're pitching. When I'm not doing it, like we're picking up on a team and they're not using GameChanger, I'm like, Lord, how many do you throw? Do anybody know how much you throw? I'm over here with my phone. Ball, like, because they don't.
We don't have it.
I
You don't have
question.
GameChanger?
We don't
Step
have
it up,
GameChanger
step it
either.
up.
Oh,
We don't either.
We do.
Hold on.
Our
Time out.
11 year has
Time. What did you say?
We don't have GameChanger.
We don't either.
We don't either.
Come on,
Not for the
Junior.
night here.
I have the GameChanger
Man.
app
No.
because I like to
No,
watch
that's,
the other.
that's
Hey,
kind
hey.
of that's
For
kind
what?
Of on me, though. That's
For
kind of on me.
what?
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, Junior.
Hey man, every team's supposed to they you know the game changers like you got to get individually. You know?
Man, Junior over there
I tried to
stuttering,
set it
man.
up for my
For
team. It was a headache to get it
Hey,
started.
I don't do the game
Yeah,
changer,
right.
so I was like, you
Man.
know.
It's not your job.
Yeah.
Hey.
I tried it out. I did try it out, but
Okay.
I mean, I have two younger, you know,
too.
Yeah, yeah,
kids
it's
that I
hard.
gotta be
Yeah.
chasing. And
Now you
when I
read.
do the books, a little easier for me to, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Karen does
Catch
for
on
our
to the
11
game.
and it's
Okay,
great
so
because when
I'm
our
gonna
older
let you
kids are
off the
playing-
hook, but I'm not gonna let him off the hook because all this Legend Mafia, man,
Yeah.
do some Game Changer Mafia, bro.
Yeah.
Come on,
All
man.
right, we'll get game changer for the 9 years.
I can
How you
say
gonna
this.
have Mafia in your name and you ain't got Game Changer?
Oh man.
Might as well just quit now.
I can tell you
Terrible.
Free
this.
agent.
I used to do the book. I used to do the book manually, and then someone taught me how to do the game changer, and I started doing it. And then we picked up on a team, and they're like, "Hey, can you do our book for us?" And I'm
Oh,
like,
Lord.
I don't know, something happened to the mom that usually does. I don't know what, and I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead, give it to me." And I'm over here doing. I'm like, "Oh Lord, I don't like this. I like the book." I'm like, "No, can I do game? We don't have." Give me the numbers.
Give me your email.
I'll do the game changer for you. I created a game changer account for them and everything. I'm like, I just couldn't
Gonna
go
need your
back
number.
to the book. I couldn't go back to the book.
So the
Hey,
I'm like, it's
advantage
crazy.
of Game Changer
Who
is
does
when
that?
you're at a tournament and they don't update the stats or who's in
Yeah.
what pool,
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
We look it up. We look up
Yeah.
the team and we find it and we say, okay, they're still playing. It's 5-3. We might be first team. We might be second.
Oh, that's
Is
huge.
it 8 o'clock in the morning or is it 10
That's-
o'clock?
yeah, yeah.
Everybody-
And
so
I was
Game
gonna bring that up.
Changer is good for that.
It
Yeah.
helps. See,
Yeah.
it does help.
Yes, especially with the Super NIT coming in March, where you're gonna have different
Where
teams
they don't
playing at
update it
di-
till
different
yeah.
12:30 in the morning and you got
Yeah.
an 8 o'clock game.
Oh, nobody updates it. So you're
Darren?
so the fun.
Right, where's Darren?
So okay, so is anybody here? Does anybody here understand the formula? Oh, okay. So we got some
Oh,
Issa cookies here. Want a cookie? I don't know if y'all can eat a
Do
cookie.
they
or
have
not. Want a
anything
cookie?
in them?
I think they're chocolate chip and
Are these
oh,
special?
they're
Are these
edible,
special
though,
baked
guys.
cookies?
Yes,
Yes,
they're
they
special
are.
great.
They're setting us up, guys. If you don't hear from me in
There
5
you go.
minutes,
For one of our sponsors,
Save
Issa
me.
napkins. Let me get some.
Dude, dip
Just
to
a
your
heads
wife
up.
for going to school
Thank
and
you,
popping
Chewer,
out
when
and
you're
still
chewing.
finding time to bake cookies.
Right.
Less time
Oh.
to bake cookies.
Where were we at? We're on
I
Game
don't
Changer.
know.
Oh, okay. So no, I know. Has anybody here, when they're doing either Game Changer, looking at the brackets, have y'all figured out the algorithm that's gonna let you know if you're gonna play at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock?
No.
You're
No.
looking not through.
We
Game
have not
Changer.
because
Or
there's
just
been
through-
teams
or
that
just through the
didn't
stuff.
are we getting
expect it,
educated
yeah.
today?
No.
Educated.
Because listen, because I'm on the field, so I don't even know, right? But we have some parents; they could tell you, man, if you let one run in, you're playing at 9:30.
Yeah.
If you let two runs in, you're playing at 8.
Hey, I have to say that Andrew Lambert, he knows it all the time.
Does it really? Yeah, I find, hey, you know what? I'm impressed by people like Andrew.
Andrew Lambert.
Andrew Lambert.
Yes,
Man, I'm
he
impressed by
knows.
him because our guy Eric Johnson, he'll tell you, man. Hey, man, y'all let 2 more runs in. We're showing up at 11. I'm like, oh man, that's too early. I gotta
Last
be here at
weekend we
3.
played at Baseball USA, and he knew we only played that one game. We
Okay.
got out there. He said, "No, we're gonna play 4." He wasn't lying.
He
And-
must-
yes, we played 4 games. We like
Oh man,
Andrew
yeah.
knew. So shout out to Coach Andrew.
Yeah, shout out to
Hey.
Andrew.
Yeah.
All
I'm-
they're looking at is runs allowed, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how to
And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
run.
yeah.
Yeah,
Runs
Junior
allowed.
don't know. You don't even have Game Changer.
No. The way
It's not on
look,
Game
you
Changer. It's
go
not on
I know.
Game Changer.
go off the wins,
rigged.
and then
Off the
after the
wins.
wins is the runs allowed,
Yes.
and
Is
then
that what
after
it's
that it's runs scored. Yeah, it's all we like.
Man,
that.
I just wait for
Runs allowed.
I just wait from the text message on Group Me,
Right.
and that's when I'll
yeah,
be there.
well, you show up like 5 minutes before the
Late.
game.
I do
like,
show up
come
5
on,
minutes before
man.
the game.
Like,
I do. Yeah, so I always find it. I mean, I'm like captivated by those people because I mean they know exactly. You know, hey, you can't let that guy score. I'm like, oh shit, man, I'm over here. I mean, okay, well, I guess we can't let this guy score. So,
Because they
Uh,
divide it.
well,
They divide the runs into your 2 games, and yeah.
okay, yeah.
I'm
Hey.
the one looking all that up. Like,
Hey,
okay,
because I'm
we're
gonna
playing in clock.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate the 8 o'clock Sunday game.
Yes.
How about everybody
Thank
here?
you.
Everybody
yes,
here?
Yes.
Everybody- Junior loves the 8 o'clock. He's always there at 8 o'clock.
He goes home at 10.
hey, it always.
He goes home at 10.
No.
9:45.
Check
Get
this
it
out.
right.
Check
He's
this
at
out.
Pluckers at 10:30.
So check this out. The other day, Steve's like, man, blah blah blah, and Steve, would you end up the 2nd seed or the 3rd seed?
Which one?
You guys like the last tournament?
Hold on. Which tournament? The
I don't know.
NIT?
Yeah, or whoever, whichever seed you got, it was 2nd or 3rd, and then you're like making fun of me, and you end up getting the 8 o'clock game.
Oh no. That was the NIT in Dallas.
Oh,
Yeah, that
okay.
was terrible. Yeah,
that was funny.
that was terrible.
Grandma.
Hey man, hey Miss
Slow
Miss
down,
Beth says you
Grandma.
gotta know that.
Oh no.
What?
Miss,
Gotta-
you
what?
gotta know the
Miss
run
Beth?
differential.
Oh man, who does? Coaches or
Everybody.
Man, I'm worried about the
Ah,
outfield. I
man.
don't know. They better not let it run in.
Come on, Sean. Sean Holton throwing shots at me, man.
Why can't we see the messages?
Oh, you can see them
Right
right there.
there, right there.
They're behind us.
Where's the FTP rules? Where's FTP rules?
What's up there?
Wait,
Y'all
wait,
sleep?
wait. No.
He was there. Out
Where
there.
they
There
at?
it is in the house.
What's up, FTP rules?
Hey,
I know who you are.
Oh, you do?
Oh, do you?
Oh,
Okay.
we have
Yeah,
no
yeah,
idea.
We have
I've
no
been
idea.
trying to
They
find
are.
out. Okay.
Y'all have a trash can?
Trash can? Yeah.
Shit.
You need a trash can?
She's commenting on how many beers I drank, and I'm not done yet.
Grandma. Slow down, Grandma.
Oh, well, going good.
Y'all must not know about me.
Oh, man.
No, but okay. So 8 o'clock games.
Check
Not
out.
a fan? No fan?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, fan.
8:00 in the morning?
8 o'clock on Sunday.
In the morning?
Yes.
It sucks, but I'll do it.
Okay.
Grandma,
8
they're
o'clock?
cheering for you on this chat. Let's go, Crushers.
Oh,
Grandma, they're cheering for you.
Woo, yes.
If we're playing 8 o'clock games, chances are we're gonna spend all day
Yes.
there on Sunday. We won't
Yeah.
get home
Oh,
till
man.
12 midnight.
Right.
No, I
And
don't
it's all
no 8
worth
o'clock
it.
games.
How about you? You like 8 o'clock Sunday games?
No,
Okay.
no.
You? Nope.
Depends on how much I drink on Saturday.
So let's say you drink moderately. Moderately.
If we don't lose the 8 o'clock game, I'm cool.
Okay. All right.
Since we're family, we always go out to eat afterwards and we have some drinks because we're family. I don't know about y'all, but we're family.
So you're on a family team then.
We're on a family team.
Okay. Who's on a party team?
Oh, that too.
You're a family. Oh, family party
We
team.
everybody.
Woo. Man, I thought only the legends had that. Family and party team. How are the Crushers?
I'm
They're a
ashamed
family
to
team?
say,
Man.
I'm ashamed.
no, they're. What do you mean family by blood or by?
No.
Hey, break it down. Break it down for me.
Break it down.
Cut her off.
Okay.
Cut her off.
Yeah. No.
So,
Junior's gonna define
all right,
party.
so I'm gonna break it down for you. There's 3 kinds of teams.
We
All
gotta
right.
pick one?
No. You're gonna classify whichever team you are in.
Yes.
Okay.
Lord.
So team number 1 is the serious team. Every parent in there is
Paid
serious.
coaches. Paid
you
Oh
got-
no,
coaches.
that ain't us.
Hold on. You got paid
Paid
coaches.
coaches.
You
That
got,
ain't us.
you got the parents on the fence.
That's
You
a
know,
serious team.
coaching the kids. You know, you're traveling, etc. Team number 2 is the family team. No matter what happens, we're all family.
Oh, at the beach at the end of the game.
And one team, one goal. If they have that on their Facebook,
Woo woo!
they're
Jonathan, you
definitely
crushers.
a family team. And then the last one is the party team. Those are the parents that have all of them have Yeti cups. They go to
I hear
Pluckers.
Unix.
They go to Pluckers or Buffalo Wild Wings during or after games, and it doesn't matter where what they do during the season, they always end up in Sulphur or Gulf Shores.
Okay, so let me explain to you. Just like my husband and me, we're a blended family. We're mixed.
Okay.
So we are number 2 and number 3. We are
Family team?
family team
And a party team.
team. Okay.
Hey, I like the party teams. Party teams.
Yeah.
We are both, and I would say more family than party because we're a new team.
Okay.
You know,
Okay. All right.
we're about to do this.
I got Okay, so
Shit's
who
about
has
to
gone
go
out?
down.
Who's gone out of town with their teams?
Right here.
Okay, so how
In the lobby,
okay.
drinking my wine.
In the lobby or outside? Okay, so are you in the lobby? Or are you outside? Are you by the pool? Are you barbecuing? What are y'all doing? Y'all have fun? Oh, but you're in Little League.
Yeah, Little League.
Oh.
Shut up there.
You're the bodyguard. You ain't supposed to talk anyway.
She had a lot of fun. Now you want back.
So your
Now
body,
you want back.
your bodyguard did not want me to acknowledge her, but
Right.
she's giving answers.
Now she wants to talk. Put her on camera.
We went to
Oh,
Gulf
you went to
Shores.
Gulf Shores? Oh.
Party team.
Party team. Gulf Shores equal party team.
Did y'all take the
Hey,
picture?
One and done. We
Did
were
y'all
done with
take-
Gulf Shores.
Take the picture at the beach.
Did y'all take a picture at the beach?
No.
Oh.
I jump up and everything.
Yeah.
You know what we're talking about? Yeah.
That's the truth. That's a true party team out
We're
there.
that
Oh, family
hardcore.
team.
Where they're lining up the kids,
Photo
the
shoot.
moms and the dads.
Everybody went to get a cup by the water. Okay, all right.
I don't know who that team was. It just flashed back. I know who that team was.
Well, there's several of them.
Yeah.
Now, have you been to Gulf Shores? Okay. Did you experience what we're talking about? Or did you partake in that experience? Did you barbecue? Were you in the lobby drinking till about 2, 3 in the morning, being told to be quiet? Were there dads in the parking lot trying to break up the team, trying to get the new team on the way from I-10 all the way to Houston?
She was taking notes.
That was sulfur.
That was Sulphur? Oh, okay.
So that's where the affair happened.
Oh! No, not her.
Give her
Yeah,
another
we're
drink.
just talking.
No, they're ranking on me for this Dos Equis. They're like, it's hot. When are you gonna drink it?
Oh.
They're saying on that Dos Equis look sad up there. Said, I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it. All right?
Oh my God.
No. So far, the first World Series.
What happened in Sulphur?
Yeah, let's talk about Sulphur real quick.
Okay. First World Series I ever went to, I did go to Sulphur. We went to Sulphur. We played there.
Can you pass me the wine bottle?
We were a party family team.
Okay.
There was barbecuing in the parking lot.
Nice.
Drinking.
Was that a
you know.
Mexican team?
There was a lot of them.
Oh, okay. I thought the Broncos were over there.
Los Broncos,
Oh, the
bro.
Broncos, bro.
Thank you.
I think we shared the pool with them.
I think we were there too.
Oh, damn. Man, everybody. Junior, were you there?
And
Junior was there with us.
yeah. There was a rumble in the swimming pool. No, there really was.
So yeah, we
Oh, my
had
God.
that. We had the fighting going on between the parents
Might as
and
well
all
finish
that. Everyone knew when we got back that was it for it because there
Really?
was a huge fight over in Sulphur. So yeah, we did that one. The one in Gulf Shore, we did go and do the moms and the kids and the jumping and the what is it called, the boomerang little thing where we're jumping up and down. Yeah, we did that one and the sand and all that.
You still have those pictures?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
I do.
So does Junior. Not of you, but of him. Go ahead.
This last World Series that we went to, we went to Dallas.
Okay.
And I would say that the team was, family team, but I
Okay.
guess in World Series we were family party.
Okay.
And like we party.
Nice.
Well, the moms, we had fun.
We had a mom outing.
Did you?
That's
Okay.
Yes.
You know, you guys were closer to
important.
home. You could relax a little
Yeah,
more.
Yeah.
we had a mom outing. We had fun. I'm not a big drinker.
Well, you know what? That's pretty good that you had a mom outing because it's always the dads having the outings, and they're always out. And
Oh no, not
hanging
that, not
out.
that team.
Well, they
No,
usually
not that
have
team?
they
Not that
usually
team.
have
Mama's
like
gonna go.
4 days of dad outing.
Okay. So when you
But we
okay.
had one. At least we had one.
Okay, so
we had
what,
a one mom's
what
night.
World Series did you go to?
We went to Sulphur,
Okay.
Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
It was nice.
You
It
weren't
was
bored
nice.
there? I get bored in Sulphur. I mean,
Man, Sulphur's
after
like
my
Pasadena.
After
It's
my
like,
2 days of
Yeah,
gambling, I'm
it's-
done. I'm ready to come home.
wait,
That's
but
just
where
me,
does
though.
everybody stay when they go? Do you stay at the Fairfield Inn or at the Golden Nugget?
I stayed at the Golden Nugget,
Not,
and I was bored after 2 days. Seriously, I mean, I was.
What
but
about
that-
Cali? There's a World Series in Cali. Anybody
my
going?
team went. I
The
didn't go.
international?
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't been there.
No, it's
I
nice.
think we might.
It's nice. You gonna
Yeah,
go there?
no, they
We
say
go
it's
there.
nice.
Oh man, get ready to get screwed by the umps.
Home team advantage.
Home state
Oh.
advantage.
Wow.
No, but it's fun. I mean, because it's out there. It's in what? Chino Hills.
Chino Hills.
Chino
yeah.
Hills.
Because
That's
is that
beautiful.
where the BLD started at? Because they have a lot of BLDs.
Yeah, well, they have
around
2
there.
BODs that are close by. So if you stay in like Rancho Cucamonga, yeah, that's a perfect place to stay.
There's tons of fields there.
Yeah, it's nice out there. It's nice. There are a lot of teams out there.
Damn, I
A
don't.
lot of
How do you
teams, so-
spell that?
Rancho
Rancho
Cucamonga?
Cucamonga?
I don't know, man. You're gonna have to Google that. But no, it's nice. It's nice out there. So, I mean, if you get a chance to go, that's what the beginning of June, right? Something like that.
Junior, are you a coconut?
What do you mean?
You brown on the outside, white on the inside?
No, hell nah.
No, he's
Nah.
deep from Mexico.
I'm
Yeah.
deep fried.
No, he's deep from Mexico.
I'm deep
Is
fried.
Like
there a
some
problem
mullet.
with that?
Ah,
We do have our green guy in the house.
I love
Is there a
green
problem with that? My kids are mixed and they're white on the inside.
So, Lori, have you been to a World Series yet? Not yet. Is this year going to be your first time, or
This
did
is
you go?
our first year that we played.
Okay, so you're going to be in a World Series this
We
June or
took
July.
we took second place and got the little ring. You know,
Okay.
Little ring.
well, heavy ring. It's actually big and heavy. I was gonna wear it tonight.
You should have.
To be like, bam!
Channel Roll Crushers.
Woo, crushers! But yeah, no, we haven't. We're a new team.
Okay, so
What the team to look out for?
okay, so then
Ooh.
please beware.
Where are they going? Where are they going to Sulphur?
I don't think they know that yet. Do y'all know
Well,
that? Has y'all schedule
well,
come out yet?
You talking about cow manure?
No.
Hey, well, there's a bunch of Channel V people watching, so.
Hey, so ask the Channel V people,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
World Series are they going to?
All right, hold on.
We
I'll
love
write
Channel
down.
View. I'm
Grandma doesn't
representing the East Side. Hey, and the 10 under is great too.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, 10 under is great. Y'all are right next door. I don't know why y'all ain't fucking supporting us. What's wrong with this? Come on now.
Who?
You right next to you,
Yeah.
Pasadena. We're Channel View.
Hey.
Come
Oh, I
on.
live in Sugarland. I don't know where Channel View's at.
Well,
Where's-
you hosting our podcast,
Nah, I'm just
dude. You
playing.
hosting our podcast.
Listen,
dude.
hold on. I'm just playing. But my good
You
friend,
hosting our podcast right here.
a good
Come
friend,
on, y'all.
a good friend of mine is
Don't
actually.
act bougie.
No.
Get your K Upton studio and act bougie now.
Hey, no, that sounds like Steve.
No, actually, my friend is a high school baseball coach at Channel View High School. So yeah, so I've been there. That's a nice field out there, just in case anybody wants to go out there.
It is nice.
Yeah, it's real nice out there.
I
So shout out Garrett Henry.
I went Channel View Crushers, but I went Channel View High School, North Shore
Did
all
you
day.
really?
My
Yeah.
kids graduate North Shore. We're going tomorrow to the playoffs. We're going to make it.
Are you going? I'm driving up there tomorrow.
I'm going, yes.
I should be there right now.
My
so-
daughter lives downtown Dallas, so yes.
Oh, nice.
I'm leaving right after here and going.
Really?
Damn.
Nice,
Damn.
nice,
Steve,
nice.
she
The
got you
wind up
beat.
is not responsible for any of
Yeah.
this.
She got you beat. She's gone tonight.
Oh yeah. Hey, so let's talk about you Baseball USA. Who gets mad at paying the entrance fees? Do you get mad?
I get mad at the lines. They need to
Yeah.
have more people collecting. I'm like, lady, I'm ready. Come here. Here's my money. And I come from
Yeah, you come.
customer service and all that, so I think they need to step up their game with more people out there. Just like Chick-fil-A, one car, get the next car. Come on, people,
I'm
let's
with
move
you.
the line because
I'm-
it's always long and it's not worth it.
Yeah, especially 8 o'clock. How about you, Brandon?
That's a sponsor.
What
Chick-fil-A.
bothers me is the fee per person.
Okay.
It's one damn car.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
gonna take two
Carload.
spots, so why are you charging per person?
And there's
Okay.
no parking.
It makes no sense. And yeah, then there's
Yeah,
parking.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I've come on and I said I don't mind paying, but please guarantee me a parking spot because
Yes.
you know it's not like at a mall where you could just go around. I mean, it's just that line. You go
That's the
here,
only
you go
advantage
there.
of the 8 o'clock
Yes.
game.
All right, let me
Right,
let me bring you up
game.
now.
That is true. That is true. But
I,
I pay and I'm pissed off every time I pay. I don't care if it's $5,
Yeah.
$2,
Because
$1.
you pay league fees, so.
It's just the
yeah.
principle of the thing. So I've been on record as saying I hate it, but I just wanted to know everybody else's opinion. How about you?
We did this weekend. We paid our fees, and then we had to pay to get in the park per
Right.
person per car, like she said. Plus, we had to donate a towing. for the Christmas toy
Oh,
drive.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Which we
How was
didn't-
that?
It was nice. We didn't mind, but it's the whole principle. Like, come on now.
Right.
Like, we're already paying out of pocket.
Hey,
Give
Steve.
us a break somewhere.
Yes.
We got a guest on the phone.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
It's Miss Tiffany.
It's Tiffany.
Dillard.
Tiffany, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on, Tiffany? Thanks for calling in.
Put her on. Can't hear. I can barely hear. Hey, Tiffany, how you doing, ma'am?
Hey, Steve.
How you doing? Thanks for calling in.
Can you hear
No
us?
problem.
Oh,
I
there you
think,
go.
yes, I can hear you. I think there's a little bit of a delay.
Oh, okay,
I'm
cool.
good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for calling us. What do you want to add to this conversation right now? Because we're across the board. We're family team,
Party team.
serious
Serious team.
pissed off at paying $5. So we're all over the board right now. So what would you like to talk about?
Hold on. I was trying to hear you on the. I think there's like a delay on the.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hear you saying you're all over the board.
Yes.
What do I want to talk about? Well, my favorite thing. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
My biggest thing is like the difference between, I think sometimes us baseball moms get bad rap.
Okay.
Right? Because like,
I agree.
I don't think you belong in baseball. Moms don't belong in baseball and this and that, and the females don't belong. But the thing is, I think it's hard for us because when our kids are young, it's like, we need a mom in the dugout. We need a mom to arrange snacks. We need a mom to do this and be in charge of all these things. And some of us, our husbands are coaching or doing different things. And so we do that, and then all of a sudden we get into the select world, and it's like, get out of the dugout. No moms
Right.
in the dugout. Stop chirping at the umpires. Don't tell me, who are you to tell the coach? We don't need any help, And so I think that's really hard for us, and so we get a really bad name.
You know what? That's funny that you bring up the snack thing because in Little League, when my son was playing, we had a little list of everybody bringing snacks, right? And so I was cool with it, right? Hey, listen, I know it's Little League, so I'm not mad at that. And then he gets into select ball, and you bring up snacks, and man, you're like ostracized. Like, man, where are you coming from?
Eating a
Where have
hot
you
dog in the
been?
dugout.
Yeah, it's
I want
so.
to be on a team that brings snacks instead of paying $5 for a hot dog.
Yeah, so
Right.
I
Thank you.
understand.
Yes.
I understand that because I've seen some moms who have been, I guess they were dependent on when they were in Little League, and then when they get to select ball, man, they don't want you anywhere near the dugout.
That's when you relax and drink some wine, lady.
And I'm the one that sneaks by the dugout and be like, why the hell you didn't swing your damn bat?
Man.
And then I run when the coach looks over there.
So what team are you with?
The prospects.
No.
Oh, me? Oh, her. She's there?
Yes.
She's there.
Yeah, she's still here. She's still here.
Tiffany.
Hey, Cardi B.
Tiffany, what team are you with?
So we play for, there's two Tiffany's. Sorry.
She plays for who?
Who do you play for?
Yes. So we play with Premier Asia.
Oh, with Premier.
For real.
Who? I couldn't hear.
There's like a really bad delay, so I can
Premier
barely hear you
Asia?
on here, and then I try to listen to you. Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
So we're listening to
Premier has
Premier. We
great
play on
parents.
Premier Asia
oh,
with
okay.
Coach Asia.
Oh, okay. Man, that's far. I've been on record not wanting to go to Premier. It's just too far for me. But that's just my personal preference. So, how about you, Hudo? What do you?
We're on the north side of town.
Oh yeah. I used to live in Cyprus, and I still hated going to Premier. So, figure that one
Your trip
out.
is taking over Premier, right? Weren't they nations before?
I don't
They're
know.
playing out of there now?
I mean,
Half and half, I
you want to
think.
break some news?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Wasn't that on the last podcast?
No.
We are buying Premier, lady, right now.
Right. I
I
could have
saw
playing out of
actually.
Premier.
Go,
I
Gossip
did
Girl!
see that Premier was going to start hosting some U-Trip tournaments.
Thank you. I'll be up on it. I just know where we got to go on Sundays.
Hey,
Google Maps.
hey, Tiffany, this is Junior right here. You said you had a experience in the select world, right? Can you talk to us about the craziest story that you've had?
With the bats and stuff.
Yes.
Hold on. For some reason, I can't hear you whenever you're talking to me.
Oh, it's probably the connection. But what is the craziest story you can tell us from your time in select baseball?
What was that?
Hold on, give us a second real quick. Okay, can you hear me now?
It's just kind of clouded.
Okay.
Go ahead, go, Junior.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Talk to us about the craziest story that you can share with us about select baseball from your experience.
Crazy story
Yeah.
for the premier team.
Anything. Any team.
We want to hear her
Anything?
craziest story for her
Yeah.
baseball mom.
Yeah.
About the craziest story for baseball mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
The worst thing was for me was whenever we first transitioned into select baseball. Our very first trophy presentation that we were at with the team that we were playing. My son was 7, and he was recruited to play on his first select team. We weren't looking to play select at the time, but one of the coaches out at the facility we practiced out was like, hey, I think you can come and play. So he started playing on this 9U select team. Well, the very first time we made a trophy presentation, there was this mom from Lefkin, a team from Lefkin, crazy. And our coach is telling our boys, hey, good job, whatever. Now, granted, I love this man. He's been in baseball for a very, very long time. He's a great coach. A lot of people know him. But he is loud when he's with the boys, and he might scream at them and then put him back out on the field, right? But we saw him in practice, so we loved him, right? So this mom is like, she goes, he gives us a speech, and he's like, hey, boys, y'all did a great job. And again, mind you, this is our first time as a team to make the championship, and we got second, okay? And she's like, good job, coach. I hope you boys learn nothing from this coach, right? Yours, and I mean, just yelling at him out on the field. And I'm sitting there like, what is going on right now? And he's like, coming close, and we're just like, oh God. And so then of course the coach comes in and he's like, hey, you're not going to talk about my mom like that, right? And I'm just sitting there going, is this what select baseball is all about? Because this is craziness.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
Was it a paid coach?
Junior and the pay coach.
Right.
I'm just asking.
Hey, they ain't got to be paid coach to be yelling like they ain't got no mind, because there's some coaches up there they
That's
won't
just
get paid.
men.
Yeah.
Men.
No, there's a
Men with
difference.
egos.
Yeah.
It
For
was
sure.
a paid coach, by the way.
Oh man. A paid coach.
Kind of like an escort, sweetie.
Hey, Tiffany, how do you feel about paid coaches?
Yeah. Yes, and honestly, what I realize now that, yeah, exactly.
No, who she talked to?
So
it's
we've had
delayed.
some coaches, and I've had some non-paid coaches. The first experience we had with a paid coach, I realize now that I've been in it, I'm like, for some, it's like, let's just play basic baseball and just go out there and play, and I'm
She
gonna,
realized it was cheaper.
take all your money, I would say however
told
much,
you.
and then at the end we're gonna be done, right? Nothing serious, nothing crazy. And then you have other people who, like last season, we had a paid coach, and he was very, very good. He was amazing. It was his first year coaching, and we absolutely
Who was the
loved him.
coach?
And then I've also been on a team with dad coaches. And, I feel like dads also, they get a really bad rap, and I
Right.
cannot stand on the page when they're like, oh, no daddy ball, because my husband was a coach, also. And to me, I've been there behind that coach where I'm like, do we even want to win? Like, do you want to go home today? Because, like, I got up at 8 o'clock, and I came out here, and I want to win. But it feels like, to me, that you just want to go home and enjoy your Sunday, right? Is sometimes what it feels like. And then you have these dads. Nobody wants to win more than a dad. Nobody.
You're not lying about that.
And so I feel like it's just hard, because I think both are good, and I think there's a place for both, but it's just really difficult to navigate. And you have to find dad that has the best intentions. So.
Okay. Well, Tiffany, thanks for calling in. We're having technical difficulties right now, so whenever we get it squared out, I'll let you know, and then we'll try to get you back on. Okay.
Do y'all have a
Okay,
shot
thank
glass?
you. I was just about to tell you I was having a hard
Right.
time. Ladies,
her.
I'm so sorry I couldn't join you. It looks like y'all are having so much fun.
We are.
Yes, Tiffany. Next time you should come.
Well, on the second show, Tiffany, you
We
can
need
come
a
in.
shot glass.
Junior, do we have shot glasses?
I'll bring one. Let me
Okay,
bring one.
one.
All right, thanks.
Six here.
We need like 6 of
Thanks
them.
for calling in, Tiffany.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Bye, Tiffany.
So I missed half of that conversation, Junior. So where were we at?
You didn't miss.
Okay, all right. So I was talking about tournaments. Let's go back to tournaments, okay? Now, out of town. Now, we all know that there's an expense for going out of town. Is everybody here happy with the expenses?
I feel really bad because I'm always the one that sends my kid out of town because I don't think that it's worth me going.
Oh, for really? Okay.
I know. We've traveled enough now. He's like, hey, we're going to do World Series. Okay, who's taking you and who do I need to spend money with? 'Cause I don't
Okay.
really care anymore.
That's not bad. I mean, hey, if you can do that and you trust the people, that's, you know.
Yeah.
We have a really great team. I mean, they've been together for a while. So,
Have
you
you?
know,
Okay.
my biggest fear is like, what are these?
What the
We're gonna
hell?
get
That's a big shot glass.
I brought him a gift.
Wait, I want to know how he has the whole cookie rack.
Brought shot glasses.
How he has the whole cookie rack and no shot
Oh,
glass.
he brought Yeti cups.
Boy, that's funny. That's funny.
I'm sorry.
Who wants a big shot glass, I guess? So we'll put them right there, and just anybody who wants them.
Hey, by the way, the 7U Crushers haven't decided where they're going yet.
Okay.
But I hope they go to Sulphur. It's a bomb day.
Or Gulf Shores.
Hey, we're
Has
going.
anybody decided where they're going already for spring?
We're thinking about
Yes, we know.
Cali.
We know where we're going.
You got a hold. You got a hold of my team. They're bad, huh? Gio
going to
got
Cali.
right back with you, huh?
No, they're writing on the comments right
Yes,
now.
yes.
It says, Lori, tell them the story about our parent asking about money.
Love. What?
It said they just wrote on there. It said, Lori, tell them the story about our parent asking about money. Do you know about that? I'm assuming it's one of the Channel View Crushers.
She had
folks?
too many Bud Lights. Moving
Okay.
on.
All right.
No, I haven't. No, that will never happen. No Channel View Crushers ever asked for money that I'm aware of. We
I don't know who that is. CC?
We have great who?
It just says
Chris
CC.
Canizales. That's Chris. He's one of the coaches.
there
Yes,
you go.
he's a goofball.
Goofball.
Channel View Crushers never ask for money. The coaches don't ask for nothing, and we did fundraisers. We're doing a football pool right now. If y'all want to buy a square, there you go.
I was waiting for that.
We got a football pool going
You
on
buy one
right
for
now.
me, I buy one from you.
I will do that, girl.
So since we're talking about fundraisers, who here likes to do fundraisers?
I love to do them.
Really, seriously, don't lie, because I hate doing them.
I don't have no
I
problem.
can't stand
love
them.
it.
I don't.
That's
like
when we
them.
say if you want to just pay out, then you just pay out the money that you
Okay.
owe.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
some people like that, some people don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
Some
true.
people have the money, some people don't. We want
Yeah.
to make it fair for the people that play on our team if they want to choose to pay out or
Okay.
participate.
Yeah, because we always had this discussion at my house, because I don't want to do anything. I just, if you tell me it's $50, I'm gonna give you $50, and
Okay, I need
But
50
my
bucks
wife-
for our football pool.
they pay. We have to wait till after Christmas. But listen,
That's fine. Our deadline's January 28th. You got me.
well, let me switch back the date then. So we would have this conversation. I wouldn't want to do it, but my wife and my son wanted to do it, and so we ended up, she wanted to do it, and I was just like reluctantly trying to not. I was trying to do it the least amount of. I put the least amount of effort as I possibly could in fundraising. So I didn't like it, but some people like it. But I see some teams. And listen, there was a team a while back that I went to their fundraiser, and it was with Country and Joe Garcia. Man, these dudes had a fundraiser. It was awesome, and they made a lot of money. I'm assuming because I helped. I mean, they were so busy. I even started helping doing plates. I never do that, but they were so busy, and it was a fun atmosphere. Now, if fundraisers in general were like that, then I would do it. But what happens is if you have 12 on the team, maybe 4 are really committed.
Participate.
Yeah.
The next
Yeah.
3 are kind of
Yeah.
they're kind of there, and then the other 5 are maybe not there because they have to work or do whatever.
Right.
And so you don't get 100% participation, and then it falls on 4 or 5 people,
Yeah, that's true.
and then that kind of sucks.
So that's where
But I
we-
kind of disagree with that because that's where
Okay.
teamwork comes in. Like if
Okay,
we're
if
a
everybody's
team-
on the same page,
Yes.
yeah.
Because it's the same thing with us. We have a Super Bowl squares
Square.
going on right now. You go buy one. We have a Super Bowl square going on.
Okay. I don't
And-
gamble, but okay.
Yes, you said you
Number
buy
13
one. You don't
available?
buy
Did I
one.
say that?
You said
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
Oh man, we're
So
gonna have to delete
we
that.
have a Super Bowl square going on. It's $50 a square.
Okay. Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, hold on.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Pressers, calm down.
I'm used to the southeast side where they're $10, $15. Junior, I need a legends pot. I got a legends pot. Let me get
You like
another
these
one.
parents? You like these parents that took God out the Pledge of Allegiance? No, it's $50. You already said you would. So
You
anyway,
already said you would.
Well, maybe we.
$50.
Okay.
when you have fundraisers and you have this is not a hard one. We've gone out and sold water on the street.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we've gone out and it's too cold right now to do that.
Right.
We're doing a Super Bowl fundraiser. We're gonna make it. We're gonna do it, and it's gonna bring money for our team. And I don't mind helping out, doing it with the team. It's
Okay.
honestly not hard.
Yeah.
It's your heart. Where your
Yeah.
heart is. And I love the team. I love the coaches. I love the players. I'm there.
Well, good. So if you have
Can I
that
ask
participation, then that's awesome.
And I appreciate your support for the $50 for your food and broth square.
And how long does that take? Like, how long does that take?
We don't have to turn them
sell?
in until January 28th, so you have until then to give me your $50.
No, but like your time period.
$50.
For $50.
Hey,
What's
Steve,
your
I got
time
another
period?
caller on.
It's $50 a square. We
Hey,
have a 100 square pod.
Hold on, we got a guest on the line.
We got a caller. Hold
Okay.
on. There you go.
Hey, what's going on, Sean?
What's going on, my man?
Hey, what's going on?
Who's this? Sean Holton?
Real quick, man.
What's up,
First of
Holton?
all, I want to thank these moms for coming on tonight and giving us their perspective. You know, I've been doing this a long time, and sometimes we forget the importance of the role of the mom in everything that we're doing. So I want to make sure that the moms understand how much we appreciate them getting the uniforms ready, them getting the boys ready. You know, we get the glory of going to practice and taking them to the games, stuff like that. But all the behind the scenes stuff and getting the boys fed and getting their lunchbox packed and ready to go to these tournaments. And I'm not just talking about from 7U. I'm talking about all the way until these boys are, you know, my oldest is a senior in high school now, and his mom still gets up and makes him breakfast when he's got his tournaments. And we cannot, as baseball people, underestimate the value of what the mom means to that kid. And I'm sure as you other dads know, sometimes we get a little carried away, and it takes mom to pull the reins back on us and say, hey, bro, chill. That's our kid. Calm down. So thank you for coming on tonight. Thank you for talking to them. Thank you for being so involved in your kid's life and perpetuating the sport and giving my kid an opportunity to play because you want to go out there and play and be so competitive also.
Thank you.
So thank you guys for that.
Thank you. Yes.
Was that really Sean Holton?
Yeah.
Sean, good job, buddy.
And you know something I want to say is, you know,
Could you get closer to the mic?
Yeah, something I want to say.
Okay.
I do this
He's a good dude. Sean's a good dude.
I did this once before with my kids. I'm like I said, we're like supposed to be empty nesters, but we're doing all this with my grandson. But to the moms out here with baseball, and especially travel ball, it's much more than Little League. Like, y'all give your life, and people don't understand. Like, a mom might come out and she looks tore up from the floor up. Like, she's tired. You get your kids up for school. You go home. You pick them up from school. You got to do homework. You got to get them off to practice. And then you got to go home from practice and get showers and get everybody ready for bed and get lunches packed for whoever. Like, y'all give everything to your children. And I just appreciate, like I told my daughter, I said, everything y'all do is out of the kindness of your heart, like for these kids, and it's unappreciated by a lot of people. Like, you might go to the ballpark looking like trash or in a bad mood, and they don't understand how your day was because you go to work and you do all this. So I think we need to create a baseball moms group, like where we can meet once a month and have drinks or something, because y'all do a lot and you're unappreciated. I really think you are. Like, I really think, like, the coaches get the appreciation and they deserve it. Our coaches do. I love our coaches. They deserve all the appreciation. But I also think the baseball moms deserve it because it takes you to be part of the team. And y'all are good.
I agree with that. And Sean brought up some points that, quite honestly, I think I didn't look at. But thank God that he called in. Because, listen, I mean, moms do a lot of stuff.
A lot
of stuff.
And then they're expected to go home and have,
Then the sorry dad.
the night.
And then the dad. And
Really?
then
Now we're going there? How many times?
I'm tired. tired. Grandma, I'm tired. Like,
We call that on our team starfishing. We gotta go ahead and put that on there.
then you gotta take care of your man.
Starfishing. Where's my phantom people?
Then you gotta take care of your man at the end of the night. And you're like, I'm done. You know.
Well, before then, so what happens is that
Juggling all of it.
so what happens is that the dad and the son are out there getting all the glory, and the mom's in the background, just
Yes.
not getting the what I say? Yeah, the appreciation. Yeah, exactly the recognition because and then. So it's always funny to me because like when these pro athletes get on TV, they're always saying thank mom, and then there's always like, oh man, how come you're not thanking dad? Hell, the dad got thanked from 7 years old all the way to high school, because it's always the dad put in the time here, the dad, but the mom, man.
I'm a mom and spending time. You know, it's not just all that. It's I'm out there practicing with my kid.
Are you really?
Yeah. And I mean, Junior can tell you, I was like the only mom out there this past Sunday for the pitching. That's me. I got to be there because I want to learn what he's learning so that when we go home and practice, I know exactly what the coach told him, and that's what we're going to work on.
Okay.
You know, like I said, I'm grateful for my stepdad who helps me out with JP. But a lot of times I get overlooked too. Like I get coaches walk right past me and go straight to the guy.
Your mom manager, right here.
I'm mom.
I like it.
You know, I'm mom. He's my responsibility. You know, and they'll just walk right past. Don't even
Now,
say hi.
now, do you think that's because maybe they don't know, or they're just not giving you the recognition that you deserve? Because they may.
Everyone knows that I'm a single mom, and,
Okay.
and it's.
Well, I didn't know that until you just said that. So.
My stepdad is fairly young, you know, and he always gets mistaken for my husband. I'm like, no, that ain't my husband. That's my stepdad. Sorry. But even at that,
We
it's
have
like,
that problem.
They go straight immediately, you know, to him, and then he's like, well, I'll talk to her mom. He's like, he's the middle person, and I'm like, you could have just came straight to me and talked to me.
True,
You know?
true.
But you don't know anything about baseball, lady.
It doesn't
Probably
matter.
what they no.
Oh. Yeah, no. Shit. I will figure it out because that's my
We'll send
kid.
them an Uber.
That's part of the reason why. You know what? And I haven't even said this. I appreciate what you guys are doing with the WindUp because again,
I love it.
I'm learning a lot, and if this is something that my kid wants to continue to do, and he wants to play in high school, and you know. If the Lord chooses to bless him with a scholarship and you know all that, I need to know this stuff too.
Right.
We're a very, very, very small family. I do not have a lot of family here in Houston. I have two younger brothers. They played football, but they didn't go far with it. So we really don't have any experience of any athletes going into college or anything like that. So there's a whole bunch of questions, and I'm like,
They're not with North Shore.
what do you do?
Yeah.
Where do you go?
Well, you know what happened was when me and Junior started talking about this about a year and a half ago.
Hey, Cardi B.
What we wanted to do was, there's a lot of people that don't know, and they just don't know whether they say they know, but they don't know. And so we get a lot, like when we had the episode about the showcases, about how we said a lot of it's just a money grab. Well, a lot of it is a money grab. And so you should have saw the DMs that we got from some of these guys who are running some of these tournaments, But it is. I mean, listen. So you can. There's a time and a place for those. Me personally, I don't think it's at the end of November, or at the end of December, but that's just me. The summertime, maybe you can actually validate it, but I mean, it just is what it is. And a lot of people like talking about baseball, but then when you start getting into select ball and you start getting into high school baseball, and then into college, it becomes a different world.
Different, yeah.
It's so different. It's so different. And I have these conversations all the time, especially with people going into high school, because let's say your kid is 14, okay, and he's going to be a freshman in high school, okay. So he goes from practicing 3 times a week, maybe 2 times a week, to going into high school and practicing 5-6 days a week.
Oh, wow.
It's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
And so what happens is a lot of times their arms are starting to hurt because they're not used to throwing 5-6 days a week. Okay. And so one of the things we want to do is just try to educate some people on that, because when you get to high school, they expect you to be ready. They don't expect you to, they expect you to know the game. Now, yeah, they'll coach you up and they'll do this and they'll do that. But you have to know as a parent, and if you're a single mom and you don't know, I mean, granted, but there's a lot that don't. My sister didn't know. Okay.
But the game is also changing. I'm
The
a
game
single
is
parent
changing.
as well, and I always think about that. Like, what is high school going to be 10 years when my son is there?
Right.
Or 8 years from now, because of the way select youth baseball has changed. And, we're not doing little leagues where we play Thursdays and Saturdays anymore.
Right.
We're now playing 8 games a freaking weekend,
Right.
So you have a whole new generation of kids that are coming up that are conditioned to play continuously. Even now, I have friends that, David, who did the hard hitters, which we played T-ball, little league with him. His son is going through it. He plays high school baseball on Fridays, but they still do select every weekend.
Right.
We came from Florida and in Tampa, and if you didn't play select ball, you never made a high school baseball team. That was the first question that they asked you. Have you played travel baseball?
Right.
So, and I think for my son, we've been in games and he'd be like, man, Mom, how'd the third baseman miss that? So you have to think of all the youth talent that is getting so much experience now, because instead of playing 2 games a week, they're now playing 10 games a week. They're doing, some people practice 4 days a week. You see what I'm saying? So by the time that our littler kids come up and they come up into baseball, it was like when MLB went from just like an American thing, and then they went and they started picking up Spanish players. It like reformed Major League Baseball. Now you have a lot of kids here in America that are conditioned to play. So it's like, we might not know what it is right now of how to get in, which is scouts. You have to know scouts. You have to have somebody that can get your kid in front of a person that's going to put them in a position to be recognized, right? But it's like, I see so many people that this past summer was one of the first times that I've heard parents complaining. I'm complaining because I'm paying $50 a weekend. They're complaining because they're paying $3,000 for 2 months, 8 games of high school baseball, travel ball during the summer. And you think, like, hey, my kid is in high school, I don't have to worry about it. But then you go to these games and it's like, wow, you kids really freaking suck. So now we have to do travel baseball and we have to go do showcasing. And when you go to Miami and you do a high school showcase, it can be anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 per child just to enter on an individual level. And that's why I really like what Darren is doing with the Team Texas and the other teams that are doing it. I think Space Coast has one with what's his name? I don't know. I forgot. Tony's great. That puts your child. Nathan is 9. I don't know if y'all know him. I probably have been drunk. I don't know any of you guys. You've probably heard me. But the thing is that we've already been through that process where you show up and you don't know who your coach is and you don't know who your teammates are, and you have to do how good can you hit and how well can you throw and what's your exit velo, and he knows what those are at 9. So we show up and the next day we have to find our name on the board and find out like what team are we going to play with and what time do we have to be here, and we have to be ready, and you are by yourself in that, and that really takes it out of the next level of, hey, this is my friend and this is my brother because we played baseball for 3 years. How long has it been since we played with the Legends?
2 years.
Yeah, 2-3 years.
Okay, and my son was still excited to come play with Jaden because of the simple fact he's like, hey, can I go? Because I'm sure that's Jaden's house and Jaden's going to be there, so they're forever going to be friends. But at the end of the day, Nathan has played with so many people on so many different teams, and I caught a lot of criticism as a single parent when I was younger, when he was younger. Oh, you're like a baseball whore. You guys just play with anybody. Why you can't find a team and this and that? But at the end of the day, you can put my son in any predicament, any position, on any field, with any coach, in any place, and he's going to do what he's supposed to do because he's already been experienced to that. You have some kids that cannot play outside of being under their father, or, hey, this isn't my friends that I grew up with. So then it becomes the point to where before you even get to high school, how does your kid going to compete nationally? You have Back in the day, it was like 15-year-olds is when kids started traveling. You now have kids that are 9 that are flying, 8 that are flying. I had people offering us flights when my son was 6, like, hey, can you come out to Texas? We lived in Florida and play with us this weekend. You know, so, I mean, just for that to come into what is high school going to be like in the next 8 years?
Yeah, and it's going to change from today.
A lot different. So that's why I just take it every day, a day at a time, and I let dads think whatever they want to think, and I don't give a shit. I'm going to yell at my kid because I'm the same way. Who taught him how to pitch? Who went over throwing mechanics? Who went over batting practice? Now he's at the point where they're throwing 65, 70. I can't throw that, so I have to pay somebody to throw him 65, which is Cody. Cody's great. I got him out with the dirt bags guy. He's awesome. And because then you get screwed because people see you guys, dads, parents, coaches, see you as a single parent. And then they think that you don't know. So when you pay $65 for a lesson, they put your kid on a tee for 45 minutes. That's not what I need. Oh, yeah. I can put my own kid on a tee. We have a tee in the garage. I know how to do that. You know, he knows what his mechanics are. I need you to throw him a slider. I need you to throw him a curveball. I need you to. Yeah. Nate, we went out and played at Premier. My son was 9. He played up It was towards the end of the seasons. Most of the 10 were already 11. My son doesn't get striked out a lot, not to brag or anything, but he really doesn't. You know, he might get like a freaking ground out. But the kid struck him out with a breaking ball, and he cried. He was like, Mom, the ball was coming dead center. I saw it was a strike, and when I swung, the ball dropped. He had never saw it before, but we were so playing up that it was something new to him. But then you can't go to a trainer and be like, hey, this is a pitch I need him to be able to hit. So with Cody, we did, and Cody was great, and Troy Gonzalez referred him, and he's awesome. And when we do take batting practice with him, because I don't feel like he wastes my money or my time. I drive far, and I'm a single mom. I don't get any help from his father. So when I show up and I say, hey, my kid played this week, and he got jammed up on insights. Let's go over that this week. Or, hey, we're going such and such place to play this weekend. They're probably going to go outside on him. Let's work on that. So, you know, it really just depends. But now you have kids that, my son is 9. What do you think that his experience is going to be by the time he hits high school? Because now you have middle schools that are running baseball.
It's
where
starting.
we didn't
It's
have
starting.
that. Yes, definitely. It's to where, like, man, where are we going to move to where you can play on a baseball team that I don't have to drive across town in traffic in the morning because I need you playing, and that's what you want to do. So I think that, like, what you're thinking now about, like, hey, I don't know, it doesn't even matter because, like, in the next 5-6 years, the whole new group of kids that are coming up. And it's so funny because I saw a lady in one of the groups, and I love the women in the groups. They're so funny. She said that Houston is now the biggest hub for a travel baseball, which is crap. I love Houston, and we are big, and we do have a lot because mostly we don't have Little League anymore, right? You can't go anywhere and pay $200 for your kid to play for a season. It's just not going to happen. Darren, he's wonderful. He's taken over all the parks. So you don't get the pleasure anymore to just, which is funny because I had a guy tell me, you know, like, hey, just, your kid just needs experience. Put him somewhere, let him play. He's going to be okay. And I was all young. He was young. I was like, no, we got to play the best of the best. And we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And now I'm like, shit, where's the $200 a season at?
Yeah, that's a month now.
Right, exactly. You know, so you don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so this just, it gets really crazy. But, you know, when you go out and you start to play teams from California or from Florida, and it's really funny, and I've argued about it in the baseball group with a few dads who talk crazy, and they're all, oh, you got to do a different sport, and you can't throw this and that. Let me tell you what, we played in Miami. Those kids play from the time they get out of school till the sun goes down, and they do it Monday through Thursday, and then they go play tournaments all weekend. There is no you're going to throw your arm or none of that. So I don't feel like, I think that that is really a Texas thing. Honestly, I haven't been to California yet. We're going to go in January. We're going with Darren under the Team Texas thing. I'm assuming that the competition is going to be the same way. And that's why you see 10 and 11-year-olds that throw 70 because they do it every day. And my son's skill and the way that he played baseball was different because he was so comfortable because he had so many different reps. And it wasn't here where, okay, we're going to do 2 practices a week and one is a cage and one is a field. You know, and then you don't really get anything. These kids really play 3-4 hours a day every day.
Now, when you say that, everybody here we're traveling to Arizona and Florida and where all the big tournaments.
I would do Colorado because I want to see the mountains.
Okay, so with USSSA, all the big tournaments are in Florida and in California.
Yes.
Right, I
Those
agree.
are the big ones. So is everybody here? Are you okay with going there?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you?
We're so okay.
Okay.
It is funny because I saw teams in Houston that are one of the number ones, and they go down there and they lose their first pool game.
We're
Yeah.
so okay.
Oh, who's that?
I've seen a
Who's that?
couple.
Oh, okay.
That was our old team.
That's not us.
Not just you though, but I mean seriously, I've seen them go to Florida and they
Gotta
lose
go
their
play the
first
best.
game.
Yeah.
You have to, and when you get out and you get into other places,
Competition's
then you really see.
different. One of the things that I noticed that's real popular in Florida and Cali, they start kid pitch at 7U.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't
pitch
start
is-
that
Played
till
up.
9. And
Right.
one of my pet peeves is like when parents write 9U kid pitch, like 9U is kid pitch. Like you don't have to tell us it's kid pitch, you know. But
But,
those
you know,
guys
in
over
Tampa,
there, they start
no,
at 7.
Some
They
of them
start
do,
early.
but like Nate wanted to play kid pitch before we came here and we played with you.
Yeah.
And we had a guy that was dead serious and he was like, I won't let my kid pitch until he's 12. I don't care. So it goes a lot of different ways
Yeah.
too, you know. I mean, Nate want to throw the ball. You're going to be better than just a pitcher, so I don't care. Throw the ball.
Yeah, you know, bringing up that data about when they're going to pitch or whatever, and I tell Junior this all the time. Whatever you decide with your kid, that's your decision. That's the right decision.
Right. I agree
it just is.
100%.
I mean, it
Yeah.
just is. I mean, there's no need to try. I've seen coaches try to argue with moms and dads about a decision that they're making for their kid. dude, you don't know what's going on. You know, we had to take, I took my son out of baseball one time because his grades were kind of failing a little bit, right? So I'm like, man, dude, you're
That's hard.
done.
I commend you for that.
So you're done. And then unfortunately he got hurt with his eyes, so now he's barely coming back. But it's going to be a long road back. But I had to do that because, man, to me, I'm only speaking. When you're young, you have to have good grades. You don't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
I told my son, I said, dude, you wake up, you eat, you go to school, you come back, maybe you clean your room. Take out the trash. What else you gonna do? Yeah. I mean, but now everybody's like this with the phones.
So I have something to say to that. At Manville High School, they have a buddy system, and I think Pearland too has a buddy system.
Okay.
You pay $25 at the home games. The kids get to go on the field. It's like a mentoring thing for the varsity players. And the buddy that Max had like 2 years ago got to a community college. We checked on him the first semester. He fell out. Mm-hmm. So that was, okay, Max, let's sit down and we talk about what happened to your buddy. This is, if you want to do this for the long term, your grades have to be number one.
And that's so funny because my son just got on the basketball team. He's in elementary, and he woke up after tryouts, and the next day they were releasing rosters, and he says, Mom, like, oh my God, I had such a bad dream. Like, I had a bad dream. Like, I didn't make basketball because my grades were bad. And it was funny because he woke up out of the middle of his sleep at like 2:30 in the morning because subconsciously he knew, because I have been telling him for so long, like, your grades have to be there, your attendance has to be there. Like, this is what's going to be required as a student athlete. And I was like, well, baby, are your grades bad? And he was like, no, I make A's and B's. And say, well, that's all that matters. And then the next day he comes home, but he remembered that. So they can piddle with it all they want. But I think that the boys know. They know, because especially if you tell them before the time comes. Like, he literally woke up out his sleep, like, dead was up. Like, I had a horrible dream. And that's just basketball. That's not even his number one sport. There's still like 3 other sports ahead of that, you know? So just for him to understand, like, they know, and they get away with what they can get away with. And we've done the whole, oh, you can't play. And I fought with my coaches, and I've told my coaches, you know, I had problems in them. And the coaches love to hear that. The guys love, but I need them to catch her.
It's funny that
just tiring.
It's funny that you bring that up because I was out of town. My wife screenshotted the report card to me, and I saw it. I was in, I think I was in New York at the time, and I saw it. And listen, they weren't bad. I mean, he didn't fail any classes, but they weren't to what he should. I thought, And so I said, well, practice tomorrow. Go and tell the coach. Don't text the coach. Don't go over there and talk to him in person. As I tell him, he cannot play until his grades get up. So he went. So my wife went over there and said, you can't play. Yeah. And so the coach is like, oh, the same thing. Oh, we need him. I said,
right.
I said, man, tell that coach to call me. Okay. So he calls me up. He said, man, we really need him. I said, bro, it's 8U baseball. You don't need him. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, he probably did.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe he did, but
I know you say that. He probably did.
He probably did.
It doesn't take one to win the game.
Yeah, exactly. So we had that conversation, and unfortunately, I was like on the phone for like 30 minutes. I thought it was going to be like a 5-minute conversation, and I'm not going to say the coach's name, but if I was mentally weak, I think I would have succumbed to the.
You would have, because I have.
Say
and I've had coaches argue me down. Well, what about just the first half of the game, and then he'll get it. But
what is the kid learning?
Yeah. Right, exactly. And I agree 100% because if you don't do what you're supposed to do, like, that's not first option. You know.
His sales pitch for letting my son play was actually really, really good. And so I know
we will pay for your tournament. Pay for this.
So I know the guy, and so I see him. My son doesn't play there anymore, but I see him, and I'm like, man, dude, I said, man, you're damn pretty good, man. Right? And so, but going on with the grades is, all these coaches talk about, oh man, you need to do lessons, you need to do this, you need to do that, and what we talked about a couple of times on the podcast is everybody is willing to pay $60 for a hidden instructor, right?
No.
Who's willing to pay? Okay, so who's willing to pay $40 for a tutor? Anybody?
What kind of tutor?
I would, because I can't help my son with his math
anymore. For school. It doesn't matter.
No, I'm not paying it.
So my kid,
he's gonna learn at home. No,
I'm gonna brag on my kid for a little bit, Patricia over here. Okay.
Go ahead.
No.
He's in GT classes.
Hey.
And I trust that he's doing his homework. All I have to say is, did you do your homework?
Yeah.
And until you break that trust with me, then I'm going to be all on your ass and making
Right.
sure you
Dude,
get
that
it
is
done.
awesome. I wish I
But
could
he
get
keeps up the
mine.
grades, and I've only had to have one parent-teacher
Mine does
conference.
enough to pass.
And I use the analogy about baseball. We want to be the best, then you got to perform the best, be
Right.
the best, just all the way around grades and baseball.
Okay, so let me ask you a
Yeah.
question. So would you be willing to pay for a tutor? Because I have another question right afterwards, but I'm going to go around.
Absolutely.
Okay, sure.
Can
How
I
about-
just
yeah, go ahead.
Give an
But
input?
speak closer to the mic.
Sorry. I'll give a shout out to our coach, my husband, Coach
Okay.
Andre. He actually prioritizes on the kids' grades.
Okay.
So, for example, if they're not doing good in school, he'll set them aside and, tell them, hey, you have to do better in school, because baseball always comes second. School comes first, and, so, I mean, he does really good in that point.
Good.
And I like it for our team because it's showing them that, you have to do really good in school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have
So-
to. How about you, Laura?
I disagree.
Okay.
School is school. You better take your ass to school and do good. And if you don't, you get your ass whooped. Baseball is baseball.
Oh, I'm with you on that.
You're not gonna get your ass whooped in baseball, but I'm gonna talk to you. So I disagree with that.
Okay.
School is one thing, baseball is another. If you're not doing good in school, then we're gonna deal with that at home.
Okay.
If you're not doing good in baseball, your coach is the one that you gotta let your coach first,
Okay.
and
I'm
you
with you
parent
there.
second.
I'm with you there.
So I disagree.
And I'm gonna get back to that.
Yes, I disagree with all of that. So
Okay.
I'm gonna whoop your ass if your grades ain't good in school, but I'm gonna let your coach get down on your ass about baseball, and then I'm gonna back him up.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna come back to you. How about you,
Yes.
Veronica?
Oh, absolutely. If he's struggling and I can't help him,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just going to say you're on your own. I'm going to sit there and, I'll pay for a tutor. I'm going to get you the help. You got to help them succeed. You just
Right.
can't throw it all on them. And if they're struggling with something, I tell my son all the time, if there's something that you do not understand, I don't care how embarrassed you are, you need to go and he listens. You need to go and tell your teacher, I don't get that. I don't
Okay.
understand that. I said, I've explained to him, if it's hard for you right now, it's going to get harder.
Right. Oh, of
It's
course.
building,
Of course.
It's building blocks,
Of
right?
course. Yes,
Everything
ma'am.
is building blocks. So if you don't get it now, next level, next grade, it's going to be even harder. You're never going to get it. So he'll sit there and he'll wait for the class to leave and everything. Miss so and so, I really didn't understand this, and I know because when I go to school for functions, whatever, they're like, Miss Panyawa, Jonathan came to me and he told me he didn't understand that, and blah blah blah. We worked on this and he's doing great, and blah.
Nice.
And I'm like, great. He's listening to what I'm telling him, and he's not, being embarrassed or shy or whatever. If he's not getting it, he's talking to the teacher about it. But yeah, absolutely, I pay for a tutor.
Okay. How about you?
I already said yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But I think coming back to her about he has the confidence to talk to the teacher, I think that's picking up with other teams is a lot to do with confidence.
Oh yeah.
I think just playing in general brings out the confidence.
Playing in general and then being on Team Texas or picking up with somebody
Right.
when you're unfamiliar with the
Yeah,
players
'cause you
and
have
you're
to
getting
start.
to know people
Exactly.
and socialize. I think that has a lot to
Exactly.
do with the confidence.
Exactly.
But
How
playing
about you?
alone.
So
I
you
would.
you would?
I would tell him to YouTube it first because no, I swear to God, because
Oh, you can find a lot of stuff on YouTube.
I swear to God, because
Patricia.
no, let me tell you why. I bought him a Rubik's Cube. He asked for a Rubik's Cube. I mixed it up. He told me I broke it. So then he told me I had to buy him a new Rubik's Cube because he couldn't fix it. So then he YouTubed how to fix a Rubik's Cube. So if you can YouTube how to fix a Rubik's Cube, you can YouTube how to do division. Like I'm not trying to hear.
Hey, Khan Academy online works.
What
And
is
which
it?
one?
The
What-
Khan
I've
Academy.
Oh, yeah,
used
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I've
We've
used
done that.
Yeah,
We've
Khan
done that.
Academy.
Can I
Yeah.
use a shot?
Absolutely.
We've done that.
Okay, so we've been talking. I'm gonna change it up a little bit. We've been talking about single moms, right? And I appreciate you guys. I was
44 people watching.
I grew up in a single parent household.
Yeah, but
So
that number is jaded. There's
yeah,
more.
it's dated.
Yeah.
But going back to it, shout out to all the single moms. I grew up in a single mom household, so I know what you guys are going through.
Oh, wait,
But
wait.
what about the single dads? That's one of the comments that was put on here. So, I want to
Regardless
talk
of
about
what
that.
anybody says, even about single dads or daddy ball, quote unquote, I think that it's great. I mean, there's a lot of parents parents now that grew up and their dad wasn't involved. He had to work because he was the provider because, women were never there. So they did sports. So if you play daddy ball, that's all for you. My son doesn't participate. But hey, it's great that you're there every weekend with your kid, Single dads, I've only met a couple, but I've heard that they have the same struggles as single moms. I really have.
That's a good topic.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a coach
Salute
try to
to
pick up a
everybody
single mom? No.
What was that?
Has anybody here ever seen a coach try to pick up a single mom?
I've heard like
Or an
What? I've been
attached mom.
accused of fucking so many coaches, so my son can play. Swear to God. And I haven't even took the shot yet. And yes.
Oh, we gotta,
Whoa.
we gotta talk about that.
Y'all brought me.
That came
brought me.
That came from
That came
left
out of-
field.
Lord.
That
Now,
came
who
out.
did you sleep with? Let me see. Where's this?
Just recently, we picked up with Dynasty, and the guy was gonna say, "Oh, you favor her son because y'all are having sex." I've never slept with that man a day in my life. I don't even like white boys, so.
Damn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We won't talk about that.
You can change the topic. when
Okay,
you're
we're
ready,
gonna
but-
go back to grades.
Wait, I missed this. What did I miss?
Not sulfur, but you know.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, we're going back.
Pray
To,
for her.
Bringing it up.
we're going back to grades.
Something about sleep with coaches or something. We have a
Grandma.
Hey,
Grandma.
we have the hottest coaches on the east side. But they taking. Sorry, y'all.
Okay, so going back to grades, let's segue into going back to grades. And this is the reason why I think it's so important, because as soon as you get to high school, all our sons, no matter how sweet, how cute, how handsome, whatever, they start getting into girls.
Hell no.
Okay, so you know where we're going now. Okay, so they get introduced to a, how do I want to put this?
Nowadays, girls are boys.
Let's put a different type of girl. Okay. I didn't hear that.
Sorry, y'all.
So they're
Channelview.
so
Not my baby. Not Channelview. Pearland.
so
No,
they're-
ma'am. No, ma'am.
So they're introduced to girls. So now they got girls. Now they got to deal with grades. And then at that 14, 15-year-old, they all start to eat and eat and eat and eat. Okay.
They do now. Hell.
And so, yeah, but it gets a lot worse, especially when they go to high school and they start practicing, because
Yes.
they start from like 3 o'clock and then at 6 o'clock or something to that effect.
My brother went through that. My
And
mom's like,
so-
I gotta get up at 3:30 to make breakfast.
I go through
Yeah.
that myself now.
Yeah. And so you have to find a balance, because guess what? The girls aren't going away. They're just
Oh,
not.
yeah, they are.
They're not going away.
If anybody wants to sign me, I go through that eating phase right now.
So the girls aren't going away, the grades aren't going away, and eating's not going away. Okay? And so they got to have a balance somehow, somewhere. And so hopefully the grades is gonna do it, because, and the reason why I bring this up is I've been privileged and I've been honored to go to a lot of players who get baseball scholarships, and I go to their going away party at the beginning of August. Okay?
And they gorge.
And then no, and then I'll see
They
them.
got somebody knocked up. Lord help us.
No, actually, that would actually kind of be okay. But what will happen though is that so they're going away parties at the beginning of August, but nobody ever has a coming back party like at the middle of December when they flunk out,
Oh, I do.
or if they.
I have
Well,
a you fucked up on a hit party.
Well, maybe so, but that doesn't really happen that much. I mean, so
Yeah.
what happens is you're at the party for them going away,
Yeah.
and then I run into them at a restaurant, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, dude, I thought you were at school."
Yeah.
And then right off the bat, I already know they're lying. I already know they fell.
Yeah.
Okay? And so then, oh man, the registrar messed up my transcript. Liar.
Why don't you pull out a little fake badge like CSI and be like, I'm taking you in?
No, well, because normally when I see them, they're with other people. They're with other people, so I don't want to embarrass them. But I already know.
They embarrass themselves. Don't do it.
Well, yeah,
What
they
the
do.
hell
They do.
This
Hey.
is just a problem generation now.
But
Quit bowing down these kids.
But I tell you what, I've been
embarrass them. The hell you say?
I've been to some nice going away
That's the
parties.
problem now. I don't care what you say. Don't be like, I don't want to embarrass his ass.
Well, yeah, you can, but I mean,
Come on, Steve.
what's
That's
that?
the problem now.
Do it.
Everybody,
Dude, listen. Okay,
everybody
okay.
confident in these
so,
kids.
So I will answer that question.
Yes.
So in the setting that I usually see them, it's usually like at 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Okay.
They've probably been drinking.
They can handle it.
So,
Steve, where you be at?
Oh, you can't beat up a young kid? Come on now.
I'm
They
talking
wanna
like
fight
at a
you, you better
restaurant.
fight. You scared?
Listen, no. I'm at a different place than they are. I mean, I don't see them going out and stuff like that. I see them like at a
It's
restaurant
funny that you say
or
that,
something.
though, because of the simple fact that we were in Tampa and one of our baseball coaches used to play pro, right?
Okay.
And it's like, what are you doing back here? And then you find out, and Nathan learned that at a really young age as well. you're doing construction work for the city. What happened? You went pro. And you would be surprised, like, once you get in there, like, how quick they will kick you out and replace you with somebody else. So I'm sure it's the same with school as it is with MLB, because when you think once you get signed pro, you don't expect to see somebody picking up trees off the side of the road. So, you know, and we heard a lot of stories from people like, I thought I was there. I thought I signed. I thought I was in. I didn't know that I didn't have to work that hard and this and that. And it's like a never-ending thing.
Oh, it never ends.
Ever.
Front of my ass, because I thought that was a shit. Front of my ass.
Was
What are you doing here, boy? You know you should have made it pro.
Well, yeah, I tell you what, me and Junior talk about this all the time. That to be pro,
oh man,
you got to get lucky. You got to be good. You got to make sure that
chosen one.
5 people exactly. You have to be special.
Somebody told me it's
You have to
about
be
who
special.
you know.
Nah,
It's not who you know, it's who you
about
blow.
No. Not in the pros.
Oh, my bad.
That's my company.
Oh, my.
Hey, listen. So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I do have a question for you surrounding that. So, someone with money, could they pay for their kid to play?
Where at?
Like to get into a good college or
Anywhere.
That happens all the time.
make it pro, but I mean something like heavy pockets.
Okay.
Like they pay
If you give Steve
Yes.
20 grand, he'll
I
play
think
for
money
the
talks.
academy.
So we
and
can
the-
bring
Always.
we can bring Forrest Gump in here and pay, and he gonna make it.
He gonna
Okay.
make it.
So, and so I'm going to answer that question.
Spill
So
the beans.
in high school, sometimes it's been said that if
Yes,
a parent is a
don't be
booster,
nice.
then they could play. I'm gonna
Carolina High
hold on.
School.
I'm gonna disagree with.
Especially
hold
if
on,
his mom
just-
works there.
I'm gonna disagree with that, but I've seen it happen myself at other schools, so I'm gonna say yes on that one.
Money
Yes.
talks.
Even though I disagree, in college,
High school is more
Well,
political than travel.
but no,
By 100%.
we're gonna disagree on that.
No, it's not.
We're
I
gonna disagree on that.
disagree.
Can
We're
I
gonna-
rent an apartment over here and my son go to your school? Yes.
Is he gonna
Okay,
take your
but-
son's
but-
spot or no?
Hold on.
Give Steve 20
Yes.
grand.
Steve.
Hold on.
Right.
I rent an apartment over here. My son's going to this school.
Okay, I'm going to address that.
I'm with
Okay,
that,
so in
though.
college, we just saw where those actors got
Lori,
their kids
Lori.
into Stanford and all that other stuff.
Lori Laughlin, I think was her name.
And okay, so yes, so that does happen. Does that happen in baseball? Well, sometimes when you have a lot of money and you're a big booster, you could probably get your kid on the team.
Yeah.
Probably is not a word
Okay.
that should be in that sentence. It's a definite.
But
yes.
where's
Okay, well.
where's that person gonna play on the team? Because come on.
Most
now.
of the time, it doesn't
He's
really
going to wear a
matter.
They're on the
uniform.
bench.
Most of the time, it doesn't matter. So, like in the pros, so if you're a kid and your kid gets drafted in the first round, right, and they give that kid or your kid $8 million
My kid.
signing bonus,
My kid.
whoever kid,
You take it.
I'll take it.
Or
They're
go
gonna
second draft.
they're gonna give so they're gonna give your kid every opportunity to make it. Now, if they sign my
As in
kid,
favoritism.
well, they have more money invested in them.
Okay. There
Okay,
you
so
go.
it becomes a money thing, like we're
Right.
talking about. So my kid gets drafted, and they give him $10,000. His first game, he strikes out 2 times. He's on a bus back to Houston.
So I have a question
Okay,
that relates
your
to
son.
that when you're done.
Okay, your son signed for $8
$8
million.
million. I heard you.
He
$8
can
million.
strike out 100 times in a row, in a row, and he's still going to be there.
He's still
And
gonna
so,
be there.
so you got that money. So it's not really like a money thingy, but there's always a monetary dollar figure that is put into all these players when they get drafted. So yeah, I mean, if you're an unsigned free agent, you better not mess up because you will be back. And Coach Blue told us that. Remember, Julio?
Yeah.
Coach Blue told us that. Okay.
So since it's not
tell
going to
me.
be money in the coming up future, because what do our kids play on? Not necessarily money, but social media.
Right.
How many kids have gotten advances off their social media pages? Because I've seen some kids that look like they play well on social media, and when you show up and you look at them in the game, they play like crap. Because
Okay.
I mean, we
No,
know
no.
We see that
in
a lot.
Florida.
Okay. but-
Yes.
okay.
And then, they're already so popular. We had a kid that was in Florida, and he was picked up by a lot of teams that came in from out of town because they wanted that kid
Right.
to post that, hey, I'm playing with this person on this team, so that they could gain those followers.
Okay. And so that works when you're younger. When you start getting into high school, that don't work.
Right. Well, clearly.
That don't work. And definitely doesn't work when you're in college. So.
But you have some people, scouts might come out and look at your kid because he is popular on social media.
Don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Well, listen, the scouts I know won't do that.
Right.
Won't do that.
That's a rumor.
But I'm not saying that it won't happen. But
that's what I'm saying. In the next 5, how old are your kids?
But it's changing. It's
right,
changing.
exactly.
Yeah, it's changing.
Social media is really taking over a lot, and
the
MLB is really reaching out to the younger kids to make sure that they keep the fan base. You guys win over that, you know.
And you know what's funny, because how you're talking about baseball's changing. I had that same conversation today with the guy whose kid is going to college. Okay, so my thing is, and I'm a graduate. I'm a college graduate, but
Where'd you go to college?
I graduated from SMU.
Okay.
But here's the deal. So what happens is college teaches you old stuff, okay? And so in the social media world that we're in now, it's always forward thinking.
Yes.
So at some point in time, I'm not saying college is going to be non-existent because it's always going to be there. But at some point in time, the college curriculum has to change. That's what I'm saying.
It does.
It has to change.
Joey,
it has
what's
to change
his
with
name?
the time.
I've changed my Instagram like 8 times. What's Joey's name? The little boy that works out in the garage.
Joey Baseball.
Joey Baseball.
Would you not let Joey Baseball play on your 12U team?
Who the hell is Joey Baseball?
Where are you guys at?
Joey Baseball
Would you
cannot
not
play
let
for
him
my
play?
12U team.
Are you serious?
Wait, isn't he like 14 now?
Is he?
I don't know.
I think so.
Joey Baseball.
Okay, if you had a
Because he was
14
like
you.
12
It's
like
like-
3 years ago.
What is Joey Baseball?
Who is Joey Baseball?
Who is
You
that?
don't know?
He's a big. He's
I've never heard
a
of him.
kid.
He's like a
I'm
freaking
Patricia.
Yes.
Get
Okay.
off social media.
Let's say he's a baseball
Would you
kid.
take him if he came? Because he's come to Texas. He's
well-
come to Houston and he's played.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
played with the Bombers
Yeah,
Elite.
And he
because
struck out
of his
every
name.
time.
No, he did not.
Was he good?
Well,
He's like-
I've never seen him in person, but he's got like 100,000 followers on.
Yeah, he's an
Did they win the championship?
he's an
I don't
influencer
know.
on
I'm
Instagram.
sure they did.
Did
Bombers
they win
Elite,
gold?
Bombers Elite
Did
wins.
they win
I
gold?
think so because they had Tanner on that team, and I think
Right,
they even-
exactly. And he
they-
was a pickup player off of his social media.
Yeah. Same.
But at the same-
for
Who cares
Tanner.
about social media? What is your feel? I don't care about that.
Well,
You might look good on Pornhub, but in person you full of bombs. Get out my face.
It was a different.
well,
It was an elaboration on the money. Right.
well, hey, so on that
Missed
one,
that when you went to the bathroom.
hey, Julio, so on,
Just saying.
hold on. So on that note,
I gotta go pee,
Let-
but I can't leave.
no. So on that note, Julio, we gotta announce the winner of our
Intermission,
giveaway.
Yes.
Intermission.
We're gonna announce the winner of our giveaway now, so cooler heads can prevail, and we can get back on topic. So Julio, it's your turn, buddy.
So while that hot discussion we were having right now,
Yeah.
I went ahead and pick the winner.
Hey,
What
Julio, do you think we should do another one or just
Roy
one?
Roberts won.
No, we'll do another one next year if you want.
Next year.
2020.
Next year.
Or maybe,
wait a whole
or
year,
maybe
huh,
next
girl?
month or something.
Steve,
Next month or
2020.
something. We'll try to do one like every quarter,
What are you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
giving
yeah.
away?
like the bat, the
Some
cookies,
bats.
I'm
and all
giving
that.
away a custom bat, cookies, and some Ferrari michelada mix.
Yeah.
So
Where is the Ferrari Michelada mix, anyways?
It's right there
No,
in the
you-
fridge.
Have you been drinking?
Come
No.
get it, Junior.
I have Cuervo. You want some? I've been taking it. You want to do
All right,
No,
so
but I'm saying, where's the Michelada mix we're supposed to have?
Michelada.
The michelada mix is coming
I'll
out.
just take a Ferrari. Take the Michelada mix back. Give me a Ferrari.
Okay, who makes that though?
We make it.
You
We're
make
good.
it.
yeah, we make it.
Okay.
So
Cool.
while that discussion was going, I went ahead and picked
To
the winner.
add it with like Cuervo.
I picked the winner of the giveaway.
She's awesome. I like her.
So Steve, Jordan Brooks is the winner.
I think
Jordan
I know
Brooks?
that person.
Jordan Brooks.
That name sounds familiar.
Okay.
That's
nice.
really close to Lori Roberts. Real
Jordan
close.
Brooks.
Is there a second
So we'll
place?
send Jordan a message saying he won.
Yeah, so Jordan.
Good job, Jordan.
After congratulations, and as soon as Julio sends you the stuff, then get with Julio, or if you need to get with me, then get with me, and we'll talk about the bat.
She's sitting there trying to scroll down.
I love her.
I was really trying to go up. My bad.
Well, you get confused if you have a touchscreen at home.
Hey, she's even better, girl. She brought a notepad.
Here you go. You add
I
some.
saw that when I showed up. I was like, oh shit, are we taking
You add some
notes?
Bud Light to that.
We're like all over the place.
We
I
got
never
a
get.
probation officer in the house taking us.
What's your license plate number?
My mask, what?
Your license plate number? What's your license plate?
Oh, I don't know. Hell, you can go check that shit. It's good. I
You're
don't know.
driving to Dallas tonight, right?
Yeah. No, I'm not driving. I'm going home. My husband's driving.
Nice.
Okay.
So Jordan Brooks wins.
Jordan Brook won the contest, so we get a bat. They'll get the cookies and the michelada mix.
He didn't claim it. Runner-up is Lori Roberts.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Is that what you guys are giving away? Is that what you poured in my cup?
Yes.
That ain't a Ferrari.
No. It's that's what we call it, but it's.
Yeah.
They already make that.
No,
No. They use the same bottle.
Oh, okay.
Usually it's
I was
a-
about to say, boy, Junior, you be on
Usually,
that bullshit.
usually it's in a. Usually they put them in a mason jar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
we had more, so we put it in
It's
there.
really good.
Whoa.
Man,
Yeah.
I think y'all should invite like one of us once a week because we really like this mix.
Nice.
There you
I
go.
have a question.
Ask me.
Yeah.
Y'all mentioned pickup when you're talking about Joey Kid, whatever.
Right.
Joey Baseball.
Okay. So on that subject, what are your thoughts on teams that pick up kids to go to World Series?
great.
And they play those kids that they picked up.
In general.
Instead
The
of
ones that are paying?
instead of the team that got
That's a
them
good one.
to the World Series.
That is a great question. We went through all of that this year.
Yeah.
That is a very great question.
That's
I'm
a
gonna
great
let
question
Junior answer that
because-
question.
All right, so we actually went through this as well with our team, but the kid that sat out was the actual coach's kid. So, it was like, I guess, But I guess what I have to say with that is, I guess the team has to be okay with knowing that they're gonna bring an out of town kid and knowing where they're gonna fit in with that role. There's a difference from having communication as to knowing like, okay, we got this kid coming in and he's gonna do this and that, as opposed to the coach not saying anything, the kid showing up, and then your kid potentially sitting down without giving an explanation. I see both sides to it. If you ask me, depending on the tournament, Steve will tell you, if you're playing in a big national tournament, I understand you have to bring in these kids. Not necessarily all the time because they're within the same, we could find kids here in Houston area. But I will say this, if you are a coach and you are going to bring these pickup players, you got to be straight up with your team, man. Because if you're not, you're going to hurt that chemistry that you've
Okay,
put
so
together.
when are you honest with the parents? Before you leave for the World Series, or once you
When
get
you
to the
show
World
up.
Series and that kid shows up?
Or
me?
it's like a marriage.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
don't want that to.
Okay.
You gotta say that before.
Okay.
like-
We went
Oh,
through
wait,
this.
hold on,
Yeah.
hold
We
on,
went
hold
through
on,
this.
hold on,
Yeah.
hold on,
Yeah,
hold on.
we're about to get- we're
Okay,
about
so
to
you're
get
saying
into it.
before
I would.
that shit don't happen.
I know it don't.
No, he
but-
does. We were
But,
notified
Bring some
that-
more
that
cookies.
Jalen was gonna take Nate's
Bring
place.
some more cookies with your lying ass.
but I never showed up.
And you showed up though.
Oh well.
We didn't show up. Then
Oh,
you
okay.
dodged. So yeah.
We'll take some more
well,
cookies.
Well, I will answer that. I showed up because it was a strikeout for violence
Which
that
was a
Matthew
great
Murphy
tournament.
showed.
It was a great
Shout out to
tournament.
Matthew
Matthew
Murphy.
Murphy, yeah.
He put it together, and I know Pepe. He reached out to me, and I told Pepe I'll go up there on behalf of my part for the WindUp and the group for the cause, and that's the reason why we showed up. But yeah, I was wondering why you weren't there.
Yeah, you know
now,
why.
now, do parents get pissed off when kids just show up out of the blue?
I think so.
Oh,
It
yeah.
depends.
I would.
I
would.
would. Cool.
I would. I'd be like, who is this?
You would?
No, so I've been in pretty good. I've had team moms actually want to fight me when my kid shows up in bats, second or third,
Wow.
over their kid. Yeah, like they get really upset. I've been
Okay.
in that situation, but I've also been on the opposite end of it because, like with our team, we just got bumped to a higher thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when we got bumped, our coach was like, "Well, we're going to a higher competition level. Maybe never everybody isn't going to make it." And our team like kind of divided. We had
Right.
a family team, you know,
Yes.
and it was like. Our kids put in blood, sweat, and tears to get here. They the ones that got us here.
So who's this kid?
Well, it's a couple, and I agree on some of it because some of them can't, and,
Right.
and it's a thin line between do you want your kid to just have a major title or do you want them to have fun and dominate? There's a different level for
Yeah,
every
for
player,
sure.
and I get it, but it's difficult because, like you said, you're family and you party. And when we show up to
Yeah.
Baseball USA, they're, oh, shit, here come the prospects' parents. Like, the umpires know us. They know my kid. I didn't even know I had the reputation that I had until we played in Katy. And the guy was like, oh, aren't you the mom that gets kicked out? Yes, bitch. I stand on in the parking lot and cheer on top of my car for my fucking team. You're right. Every single one of those fucking kids.
Do you really get kicked out?
I have been kicked out, and I
Okay.
have had to stand on top of my car. When we played Adidas, it was a very intense game, and which is so funny because West Little York, the big field by the library,
Yes.
there's the same umpire behind the home plate every time that we play, and he is a complete asshole. Love you to death. He's an asshole. And him and Nate are best friends. And Nate, we were leaving Baseball USA. Nate rolled the window down. Hey, such and such, you look ugly. Da da da. They have that kind of relationship. I'd be like, that's the guy that kicked me out your games, like yelling at my kid, like, why are you siding with the blue? And he'd be like, I know, Mom. That's why we're cool, because he kicked you out.
I'm gonna chime in. But I want to chime in and say, high school scouts, college scouts, all these. Don't they look at parents and?
I heard they do. I had somebody just message me and was like, because of your social media and what you post, what I post has nothing to do with
don't. No, they don't.
What?
Okay.
No, not if your kid can
but it
play.
affects
Not if
them.
you
No,
have
they
money.
don't.
I don't agree
Money,
with that.
maybe.
Hold on.
Right.
Okay,
No, they don't.
So I'm glad
That's a lie.
I'm glad you bring that up, because I know kids that have had scholarships and their scholarships were taken away.
I've also
because
had
of
a
both-
dad tell me that I've done
because-
better and that I don't yell so much.
because-
So by the time we get there, maybe
Good
I'll be
job,
fine.
Patricia.
Hey.
He's
Because
only
of
9 or
parents and
10.
social
We got
media.
room
That's
to
time.
improve.
Oh, wait, Tom, if you don't want to hear me, put me in a skybox with an open bar and you won't have to worry about me.
The club
So it's up
level.
to you.
The club level open bar.
Right, you can come,
But the flip side of that, is because, some coaches and some let's say scouts
Right.
don't want to deal with that.
They don't.
They just
No.
they
And
rather
we
move
learned
to the
that.
next kid. They rather move to the next kid because it's less.
It's
less
not even
stressful.
about the parents. Like we
Well,
were
they
in-
can downgrade any day.
Well, they would think they
downgrade.
upgrade. They think they upgrade.
No,
When
they
we
don't
were in
upgrade,
Tampa,
never.
the guy runs he runs a baseball organization, and that's how we were linked with him, because he was really known in the baseball, but he didn't have younger teams. He did
Okay.
like 14 through 18. And he would call the scouts, Milwaukee Brewers, blah blah blah, whatever the fuck he was with. And he's invited scouts to come out for just to see one person. So they come and they show up at a game for a weekend, and it was like they would turn them down for the stupidest shit that you don't even explain to kids, because what is fancy on social media is stupid to scouts. Oh, he's wearing sunglasses and it's dark. No, we don't do that. Oh, he didn't haul ass because he thinks he hit good and he was going to make it to first anyways. So it's things like that. It does have a lot to do with the parents. It has a lot to do with the players as well, because that scout can feel any type of fucking way. He holds your future in his hands. So if there's one little thing that he doesn't like about you, boom, it's on to the next one, because the travel ball is so big.
Okay, so my rebuttal to that is, they see so many kids in such a short period of time that if they see a kid loafing, not hustling, being a bad
Too cool. That's what I've heard them
Yeah,
turn
I
them
mean,
down for. You're too
they're
cool.
not going to do that because they don't want to mess
really?
with the prima donna vibe, so to speak. And so, do you guys have prima donna vibes or players on your team?
We did when we played with the Legends. We're over that now.
No, you don't think so?
No.
Okay. How about you?
Shout out
Really?
Anthony.
Y'all ain't cool no more?
Who?
Ain't she on your team?
No. They're the younger group.
Yeah, they're the 9
Oh,
youth.
my bad.
9U, yeah.
Because I got some nice Legend pictures with my son.
I've played on some teams where the coaches have their kids and their kids think that they're better than everybody else because
Okay.
they're the coach's kid, right? And they can go and tell the other players, hey, you're doing this and that wrong, but all the errors you make, hey, it's okay because I'm the coach's kid. I've had those kind of
Okay.
kids on the team, but
Do you coach your son?
Hey, no, I do not coach my son.
Do you coach your son still?
Not anymore.
Do you coach
No.
your son? I think that's great.
Listen, so when my son plays, I'm in right field or I'm sitting in the stands. I do not say anything.
Really?
I don't critique.
Wow.
No,
Awesome.
when he gets in the car, I am his dad.
I'm working on that.
I am his dad. When we talk about, if he wants to talk about the game, we'll talk about the game. If he doesn't, then we don't. But
We've had that.
he understands that if he wants to come help,
She's had that before.
or if he needs help,
Well,
I am there.
I'm saying I
And all
agree
my
with
friends
him.
are there.
I
And all my friends
I
are there.
agree with that. I'm not gonna bash on you,
Yeah, you can't.
especially after a game. All you're gonna do is shut their self-esteem down.
Yeah.
What do y'all-
Right.
You want to talk about it? Absolutely, we
Well-
can talk about it. But
Right.
it's gonna be you that bring it up. And usually, my kid's like so hard on himself. He really is. He'll come over there and he's like, "Man, I can't believe I missed that," or
Mm-hmm.
he himself will be like, "You know what? I need to work on this because I didn't like the way I did this or whatever." And you want to talk about it? Okay, we'll work on it.
Yeah.
We'll if
Have
I
you
can
ever
help
had an
you-
issue before where your son messed up listening to their coach that cost them a game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, I've also experienced
That's on the
it-
coach.
That's
But
a
the
Yeah,
kids
that's
take it
that's on us.
Like
That's
the
a
kids
really good
take
question.
it personal
No, no,
though,
no,
because
no.
I've had
Okay.
my son.
That's a really good question.
Okay,
That should be asked for everybody.
and I'm going to answer that question because, and I'm just speaking for
This
our
is
team.
for the coaches.
Okay.
No, it's
so
a really good question.
no. This is just for our team. So and I'm in charge of the outfield.
Right.
Okay. So if I move my outfield 3 steps to the left, and
Right.
then they hit it right where he was at,
And
and
he'd
he doesn't
already
catch
moved.
it, that's on me.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not on him. It's strictly on me, and they know that.
Right.
Because what's going to happen is when they start playing high school and college,
And the coach
they're going to
tells
get
you,
moved.
yeah.
They're going to get moved, all right? Because based on analytics and based on this and about hitting charts, all
Yes.
that. So they're going to know. So what we try to do is we try to put them in the best possible position. Now, if the pitcher makes a wrong pitch, and we're set up for him to be thrown inside, and he throws outside, and he takes it to the right field, and we're shifted to the left, well,
Right.
guess what? That's on us.
Because at the higher level they do that. Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
And so that's what we do. But I want to bring up something that somebody said about parent coaching. We don't give enough credit to the dad who doesn't play their son as much or as
Yes.
often.
That's true.
Because
Yes.
we always hear about, oh man, he's playing because he's the coach's son.
Yeah.
Well, how about the coach
No.
that
Yes.
doesn't play his
I agree
son
100%. I've
when-
come across some of them.
when he should be
Yeah.
playing more?
I agree.
Okay. And I have this discussion with friends that I know that are in the same position, because there's some friends that I have that their kids should be playing more, but they don't, because they're trying to
That's why I
appease
asked
other
how
parents.
many people actually coach their own kids.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I coach a team that I have no kids on the team.
And I love that.
And
I
so-
love that 100%.
So it makes it easier. It makes
Because
it
it
easier
gets
for me.
difficult, and
Yeah.
I think that if you want to find a really good coach, it's not about paid coaching. A coach that loves to coach is going to coach for free because they love to, and they have kids that play baseball. Our coach, his kid plays baseball. He plays for a whole different person. Now they're playing under our organization, but last year they played on a whole different organization.
Right.
But because he loved to coach, he coached our kids, and I feel like he gave our kids 100% like blood, sweat, and tears.
Right.
To
Did you
where
pay him?
No, we did not pay him. He was not a paid coach. I have done paid coaches. I have done expensive ass fields. I've paid where my fucking fees are $300 a month. That doesn't include uniforms or tournament fees.
Really?
So yes,
Oh,
it's
God.
Sienna Plantation.
That's where
Yes, sir. No, I will never pay for your nice cages again.
That's Steve. That's Steve's side of the
I
room.
do not use those
But we
cages.
had to pay coaching. Now, granted, we were under Blaine Johnson, and he was worth every penny, and that's why I paid for him, because I don't know if you guys know him. He has the protege, but he is with 18-year-olds. So for a coach that is normally coaching an 18-year-old to coach my 9-year-old son, he really gave him the game mentally. It wasn't about, hey, this is how you catch a ball, or hey, this is how you swing your bat. It was more about, this is the numbers. This is where you should be. Hey, bunt coverage here, bunt coverage there. And so it was worth it at that point in time for us in our journey. Now, the thing is that I wouldn't do that. Pepe
Okay.
doesn't charge us. He charges a monthly fee. There was a time when I wasn't working and I'm a single mom, and Pepe covered everything for me. He picked my son up. There was weekends that he could stay there, and to me that was more to me than paying for a coaching. So I think that it really goes off of what you're into, especially as a single parent, because I don't know shit about baseball. I learned about baseball when my son learned about baseball. Because before I had a kid, I was partying. You see what I'm saying? And now, because that's his life, I had to dedicate myself to that. And then we've been blessed in the process to find people, even with Junior and them. That was the first time Nathan had ever played catcher. We came playing second base. We played second base. We were one of those parents. I was one of those parents, hey, we play up. My kid can't make the throw from third because his arm is short because he plays up. So he has to play second. And we pulled him out of that. After we came out of that, he wound up going to third. He wound up going to shortstop. We played him up. He came down. So it was a lot of different things that went on. But with Pepe, he loves to coach. Whether you can afford to pay for it, you can't. Hey, we'll do a fundraiser. Hey, there was a time that my team everybody paid extra $3 on the team to make sure that the tournament fee was covered for him, because Nate had that ability. And for us, my son will never forget that. And he tells me right now, there's been times he tells me, Mom, I don't want to play pro. I want to coach. And I tell him, oh, I'm going to come out and cheer for the T-ballers. And then he yells at me and tells me, fuck you, or play kid pitch. So, but it has an everlasting impact on the kids. And as far as fundraising goes, I think that really should be for the coaches, because with my son, the most fun that he's ever had is car washes, where it's just the guys.
Right.
He's around women so much. The moms are there every time yelling at them, I think that it shows them that, hey, you have to work for what you want. Hey, shit ain't free. Hey, sometimes y'all have to group up. Hey, it's a team effort. So, it goes through a lot of stuff. That's why I say for single dads, daddy ball, I haven't really been in it. I've pulled my kid off the field with parents who play their kids at shortstop, hey, we were not going to teach them baseball like this because it's not right. And at the end of the day, he has a love for it. So even if he doesn't go pro, maybe he fucking does sport recreation. Who knows, you know?
So
And
let me ask you a question, not to cut you off. But in all that, do you tell Pepe thank you?
oh yeah, all day. As a
Really?
matter of fact, I've been in
Uh,
war with
be-
quite a few coaches.
because-
Willie Ansley's one of them. He every time that I post in the baseball group how much we love our coach, how much I appreciate him
Hey,
because of the
Julio
simple
gonna
fact-
get mad.
Well, I don't know Julio, but he could call because I do. I really, really do. And we have assistant coaches that are dads who have kids that do
Okay.
play on our teams, and we
Well-
respect them because when you're in a private team that's not one of these big organizations where you're going to pay $250 a month or your kid has to try out. There was a time that Banditos, you had to try out before you even went to a tournament, and you were paying. You might not even play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there are some hole in the wall places. Legends has their own facility. I'm just only saying that because they're here. I'm not going to call them a little hole in the wall. You know, we've
You just
played with
did.
them. I
You just
did.
did.
I did because I'm seeing him, but that's
Love
not what
the
I
Legends.
meant. No, fuck that shit because prospects don't even have a facility. You know, we use West Little York. We are. And those parents, one of our kids got offered to play a spring, summer. They offered to pick up to go out of town to play with another team. Our child was so offended that he was going to have to play with another team. It was stressful for them because they're so dedicated to a coach.
Well, that's good to hear.
That is great. So that's why I asked, like, as a coach, like, how do you guys deal with your own kids on the team? And are you in it for coaching or are you in it just for your kids?
Yeah.
Because there's a difference because once they play high school ball, daddy has to sit in third base.
Yeah, and another thing is the coach is not talking to mommy or daddy either. So I mean, they just don't talk. So let me ask you a question: Do you ever tell your coaches thank you, or do parents tell y'all's coaches thank you?
We do.
Okay, because I think that's a dying art. I don't even think that really happens that much.
think
Unfortunately, parents just take it for granted that coaches are giving up their time, they're giving up whatever
play for
whatever
Mother's
they're giving
Day.
up. Even if they're getting paid, there's still the amount of time that you put in there is not enough for the compensation that you would get. So do y'all tell?
Always.
Always? Okay.
Yeah,
How about you?
always.
One thing, like I told you, right now we're not on a team, but one thing, and it just came to me, whether we leave a team, we don't leave on bad terms.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always made it a point for us to go, more than anything, my son to go and talk to the coach face to face,
Right.
and thank him, even though
Under their
if there was disagreements and everything, thank them for allowing him the opportunity to play with them.
Right.
And you know, we go our own ways, but yeah,
That's good.
like I said,
Because he learned something and his time
yeah,
invested.
see, and that's the thing though. That's another thing that I am strict on, and I want to teach my kid that you need to show face and you need to say thank you, even if you don't agree with stuff, right?
Because if they move on, they're going to remember
Now,
your kid.
there's some coaches that I can tell you that, you know, they cut people through a text message.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm
really?
saying? Like they can't even tell you face to face. You know,
We talked about that last week.
you know, we can't, you know,
On the
sorry, it's
football
not working out,
episode.
whatever. They're gonna send you
With
a
the
text.
text, yeah.
I mean, I've had an experience like that where they, you know,
So is that
2
normal
weeks.
in a higher level? I think that's disrespectful. If you
no,
cut me in a text message,
I
I'm going
just-
to be upset.
I just think it depends on the particular head coach.
Right.
You know, sometimes they don't want to have that interaction. They don't want to have that confrontation, but yet they're quick to cut your kid and slow to face you face to face.
Right.
If that makes sense. And so it's
There's a
easier
lot
to
of
do a
those.
text because the text is so impersonal. The text is so
Ay,
impersonal, right?
Party
It's,
foul.
So how about you? Do y'all tell y'all's coaches thank you?
Depends what coach. No.
No, that's real. That's real.
Depends what coach.
Okay.
And he knows who he is. No. But yes, for the most part,
There goes our
it's
fucking
always
cookies.
thinking.
They're
And then exactly what you said about picking up, and then you're thinking the coaches. We pick up with one team that always,
That's it.
all the kids shake the hands of the coaches, and I love that. I'm like, you have to say thank you for letting me.
Oh, we've played
Be a
teams
part of
where
the
they don't
team.
shake hands. And I think
Oh,
that's
no.
so rude as a child to show them that.
Yeah, I've seen. Well, you know what? A lot of times I've seen where coaches are should be the better person and they're not.
It's
Unfortunately,
all about the kids, and they don't think it's important.
Is it really about the kids, though?
It really
about the
is.
kids.
Because
Okay.
a lot of times
And that's
the
why I asked my
men-
kid, do you want to pick up with this team? If not, I'll stay my butt at home.
Right.
Some-
Nobody wants to get up at 8
I
o'clock
don't
on
wanna
Sunday
go.
if we have
It's about
to.
the parents.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's about the kids and whether or not they want. Like I said, anybody calls and says, "Hey, can JP play with us?" I
Let me
asked
ask
Jonathan.
him, yeah.
Let me ask Jonathan. And I know I heard, I think it was last podcast or whatever, them saying that kids shouldn't have a say into anything.
I heard that too, and
no,
I was very disappointed.
No, you know what? I've seen parents. What's going on?
I missed that one. I
I
need
did.
No,
some
I know who you're talking
Mo,
about.
where are you at, Mo?
Like
He's all
I've seen parents
You don't
push
wanna
their
force
push their kids to play a sport that they don't want to play.
Right.
The kids are playing. They don't have a passion for the game anymore. But they're sitting there. Oh, you don't pay bills, and you're gonna do what I say. Or what? Why are you? First of all, the kid don't want to do it. He already feels bad. You're not helping your team that you're on because your kid shows up not wanting to give anything. Okay. So I asked Jonathan. Jonathan, do you want to play with this team? Yes. Okay. But here's the thing. I give him the opportunity to make a choice, but he also understands when you choose something, you're going to
have to
stick
commit.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're going to
commit.
commit to
Right.
it, okay?
We went
So-
through that today, as a matter of fact. What did I tell you we were going to do before we came here? Batting practice. They
So-
didn't feel like going to batting practice, so I gave him the option. What is the point of me driving there and you don't feel like hitting? What is the point of me driving and you don't feel like playing? It's up to that child, because at the end of the day, they're going to be on the field, and there's 8 other people. There may be 10 other families that depend on him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So it's not just about that. It's about if you want to do it or not.
Yeah, and then when we show up, if he's like, he's used to playing at this level, whatever, kids aren't worth, the way they play, I'm like, I don't care. You're
choose
going to
to
go
be-
out there
right.
and give 100% because you wanted to play.
That's
And
what
you
I
know
tell
what?
him.
And you know what? You're actually showing those kids, I
To
throw
push
it,
them to
yeah,
be
push
better.
them. I throw it back on him. I'm like, when you pick up with these
Be a
older
leader.
boys, when you pick up with those older boys and you come home and you're like, man, I want to be on that level. And you start working out like crazy because you want to get there. That's what you're doing for those kids.
I have a rebuttal for that.
You need to go
and
out
we just
there.
went through that.
And I don't believe in if you want to go do this, we'll go do it. First off, if I'm paying for you to go play this game, you're going to go to practice. You're going to go to workouts.
It's
You're going to go to
before you
everything
pay,
else.
Grandma. Where
I'm
you
not
at?
asking you for nothing. I'm not asking you and that telling you, do you want to go do this? The hell you say, I paid, you're going to go.
Burnt out.
So that's why
Okay.
you have the conversation before.
Shit.
So I have a question for the coaches.
There is no conversation with the kid. I'm the adult.
What's
That's
up?
it.
So then you're going to pay and
We need to
waste your
get
money.
Mo and
Hey.
Ms. Laurie
So I have
together.
a question for the coaches regarding pickup players. What if
Yeah.
you pick up a player and you guys wind up getting bumped a whole nother level?
Like, let's say AAA and then
Get
go
the
up to
majors.
majors.
Okay, for
Well,
example,
you know
they
that
played
going in.
triple.
You know that
Yeah.
going
They
in.
played AAA and we picked up with a team. They were AA, and the next weekend they got bumped to AAA because
Yeah.
we won that weekend.
Yeah.
They know that.
Nate
Coaches
was
know that.
just against, the guy texted me, hey, can Nate catch for us? Sure, no problem. Nate wound up pitching. They wound up getting bumped from a AA to a AAA team the next weekend, that Monday, whatever Darren does. Right, no, not even, so a lot of parents, they couldn't feel like they wound up going to nations to play.
To play select.
So
Because then I saw some of the text messages that I would pull them up, but they're my other phone because this is the spot. But let me tell you what, I had a lot of rude comments from parents of why would you pick up a player who doesn't attend any of our practices or who got us bumped up and now we're not playing there and this and that. So as coaches, how do you guys pick up players like that? 'Cause I was
Yeah.
offended. I mean, it was just rude to me. Y'all asked
Yeah.
us to come out. We fucking came out. My kid wanted to play. It's not my fault, you know?
I'm still stuck on the same rule of what I think about pickup players. You got to talk to your team. Like,
Right.
you have to be straight up, because I haven't personally been in a situation like that other than the World Series. I mean, it happened a little bit, but I've seen it where
World Series is cool though, because you
Yeah.
have teams that break up before they even get to
Yeah.
World Series, and those kids don't have places to go.
Yeah, but I've
or
seen
some parents that can't
But
make
I've seen
it.
like let's say teams that played all through spring and they get to the later part of the season, they bring these players on, and like you said, the parents either they're not informed.
Junior,
or
I
something.
sat out in the palm trees.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was, because I had people looking at me crazy,
Yeah.
and we were just there to play baseball. I said, you know what, that's not
I
my
love her.
team. It's not my team. My kid wanted to play baseball this weekend, and we're gonna play.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna go put my chair way in the back, which somebody stole my chair, so whoever did, fuck y'all.
Little
You know,
monkey in the tree.
right? Because those
Well-
chairs aren't cheap when you go through a whole season and you lose
Wasn't
your
that
chair
on
every
that
time.
Hey, so let me ask everybody a question before we close it out. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But when I brought up the picking up the kids, it's not so much for like a regular tournament. I'm talking about, like you said, you know, this is a huge tournament. Let's say they win, you know, a seat to go off and play in Florida. And this team, you know, they battled, the kids did everything they had, they got better, they made it, now they got the ticket to go to Florida. And all of a sudden you pick up this kid to take with you, and you're playing that kid, but not the kids that put in all the work to get there. They're sitting on the bench because you brought on this kid.
Yeah, that's on the coach.
Communication.
They're trying to win. They're trying to win.
Exactly.
I'd be
Now-
happy to have my kids sit on that bench in
But is it
Florida
the
in the World
parents'
Series.
fault? Because
Even
at
if he
the end of
didn't
the
play,
day-
he got that far. He's farther than Houston.
At the
Take
end of the
my
day,
They're trying to
baby.
win. They're trying to
Take
win.
my
I've seen
baby
that
and
a
put
lot.
him on the bench.
So now it becomes about winning instead of about the experience for the kids.
Yeah.
so when I went through that,
Okay, but
He's part of the team.
whatever team you're on, you know that at the beginning of the season.
you know if your kid is contributing
You know,
or not to
no.
where
You-
you're
you-
A team's a
pick up everybody
team.
to
You
win.
know if you're a major team, okay, you're trying to win.
You're trying to win.
Yeah, I mean,
There's-
you're trying to
not
go
gonna
to the
not
elite.
compete.
You're trying to go to perfect game.
Right.
You're trying to do all that. So
Right.
you should know that. You should know that.
But even if a boy's on the bench and he's on a winning team, he's part of a winning team. I don't
Take
like
your ring and go
that
home.
separation. That
Okay.
separation of
Listen.
that separation of my kids on
It
the
does-
bench. He's part of a winning team. What the hell's wrong?
But you have some parents that would rather their kids sit on the bench than get reps.
man.
Oh, that happens
they
too.
almost
Hello.
lost.
Yes, a
Just to
lot.
say they're on
Shout
a
out
winning
Shadow
team,
Creek.
right?
Right.
Shout out Shadow Creek. They
Go
just won.
Pearland.
Yeah.
They almost lost on the Hail Mary. You saw that?
They didn't
Johnny
lose.
View
She was never
Crushers.
gonna catch it.
Oh,
Yeah,
you don't know that.
So, but you know that. You know
See,
that.
I haven't been on a team like that. I'm just, you know, from what I heard, you know, people going, because we ain't never gone to Florida. And none of the teams that we've been on made it to Florida.
Okay.
But I that's what I heard, you know, like a big
What are we
team,
doing for
big
MLK
name
weekend? Why are you
makes
in
it,
here?
Yeah.
And then their kids sitting on the bench, and they're like, but we played hard. Everyone played, and they keep sitting the kids out, but you bring like 3 pickup players, and now 3 of your own players are sitting on the bench when they fought to get there.
But
Yeah,
do those parents know that their kids aren't going to secure rings?
If my grandbaby makes it to a bench in Florida, I'm gonna take that ring with that team. I don't care what y'all say. It's a team. It ain't no I, it's E.
I like
Wait,
her.
Okay, so on that, so what happens is, you know, if you're going to those big tournaments, you're trying to win,
Trying,
and coaches are going to do whatever they can in order to win. Now, you're playing 6, 7, 8 games sometimes, so those kids aren't always going to sit. They're going to play,
Yeah.
and so that's where the balance comes in. Because the team that I'm on, sometimes we're bringing some players, and everybody plays though. And
I think you have to tell your kids to be prepared to sit because there might be a time that they're saving him for a later game.
if you're not teaching your kids to sit,
Oh yeah. You need
Definitely.
when they get to high
Teach them
school,
for
they're
disappointment
gonna
and
sit.
failure.
Oh,
Yeah, in high school they
You
will
have
sit.
to teach them to sit.
Yeah.
That's why I tell Nate, anytime, especially if we're picking up with a team, this ain't even your team. If they
Yeah.
put you in the right field, that's what you do. You focus on just when you come
Yeah,
to bat, at bat,
exactly.
because that's what you're supposed to do. If
Exactly.
they put you in the pitch, that's what you're supposed to do. If we pick up other kids and the coach tell you to sit and that kid's out there on the field, he's probably saving you for a different game.
Yeah.
You have to give them
You
that
just gotta be ready.
mentality.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When he calls you, it's your time to go. I don't care where you're at, period.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. But so before we go, what do you like about Select Baseball?
Really, I would say that I like that my son can play at the same park and that he makes friends on every team, even if
I would
it's
agree
in
with that.
between games. He's played catch with another team that's warming up, so he is in that community.
I tell people all the time, my kid doesn't care. Well, no, he wants to win, but he doesn't
Mine
care if they
too.
win or not.
Mine either.
But man,
I get it.
that pool time, that pizza time, that restaurant time,
Right.
that is
Party
more
time.
important to him.
My son will leave his
Then the
glove at
game.
Baseball USA, and they'll call me from the commissary like, "Hey, Nate left his glove,"
Yeah.
and that for me is like my son has something to do every weekend that's keeping him out of trouble.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember my son, my brother, when he was younger, he played high school football. My mom says, well, he don't have no time to go out on dates. Him and his girlfriend are fighting because she don't have no time for him because they train at 3:30.
Yeah.
Then they're doing friggin' a study hall for watching movies, and then they're playing, they're practicing. So for me, it keeps them off the streets.
Right.
And it keeps them around. I've had people message me.
I'm going to comment on that when it comes to my turn.
Right.
Okay.
I've had people message me like, hey, I played catch with your kid at Baseball USA. Your kid is great. I don't know these people.
So he's making a lot of friends.
He's making a lot of friends.
And that's a good thing about it.
It's safe for them.
Yeah,
Minus the fight that they had, Darren. They had a fight.
Well, it happens.
My son was there. I wasn't. He made his little video of what went down.
Okay. So how about you, Ellie? What's the positive of select baseball?
The positive is the memories, the experience that our kids, get, being in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And also seeing them grow, through, I know my son started when he was 3 years old. It was in Little League. But,
And every year you see their friends the next year and you're like, oh my God, your
Yeah.
kid got so big.
Yeah.
And they become lifelong friends.
Yeah.
Most of
Definitely.
the time they do.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Unless they move away. I tell you, some of my oldest and dearest friends I played when I was 5, 6, 7 years old.
Oh.
Matter of fact, I'm going to the game with 3 of them tomorrow. So
Oh.
yeah. So I've known them since I was like really, really young. So that's one of the positive things about whether it's Little League baseball or select baseball, whatever, is it's a camaraderie,
Yeah.
the memories,
It's a baseball life.
and everything. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Lori, how about you, ma'am?
For me, it's, it teaches kids like discipline away from home.
Right.
And that's important. If you don't learn a coach's discipline away from a family discipline, you'll never learn it anywhere else. Teachers, they don't take for granted. Like, this is my problem with the generation now. Like, everybody gives excuses for everything, and I'm sick of it. But with baseball, and here in Houston, I told you I'm not from here, but I respect and love Houston baseball. Like, y'all are, like, good. And so the families and the coaches, like, when you let a coach a child, and you really let them coach your child, you don't step in and get mad when they coach them.
It's a good thing.
Let them punish them.
Yeah,
That's their job, not yours.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah. Let me add to that because my son, when he was playing, or when he does play,
Yeah.
but I'm talking in past tense of what happened.
It's hard for a mom.
Well, what
Yeah.
happens was my son was kind of tuning me out.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you hear the same stuff all the time, whatever it is.
Yes.
But I told him, I got on the phone, I called his coach, I said, man, you make his ass run.
Yeah.
Next day, he went to practice, all he did was run. And so it's for like 2.5 hours.
Right.
And so, so coaches, and that happens on our team too. Sometimes some of the parents call, hey, man, you need to do this, that, or whatever. Because unfortunately, and it's just how it is, they just, your kids want to hear a different voice, whether we want to admit that or not. And sometimes it's sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but
I think it's
but
a
it
thin
happens.
line where coaches become parents.
Yeah, but it happens. How about you?
I would say the same, that he develops friendships. I mean, he has friends all over Houston. He's played, he's picked up with teams, to help out and stuff, and he's met friends everywhere.
Nice.
That, and it's taught him a lot. I think it's taught him a lot of life lessons. We haven't had the best of experiences. We've gone through a lot of terrible things, and he's gone through them as a young age, and he's learned, like you're saying, they got to learn how to sit on the bench. Well, he's learned what it feels like to sit out, not because of he can't play, but because of other
Just
politics
other factors,
behind baseball and stuff. And he's felt what it felt like. Like, he's questioned himself before. He's gotten down on himself, and am I doing what I want to do? And then, but at the same time, it's also helped him push and say, you know what, no one is going to take that away from me. And if this is what I want to do, I'm going to work even harder at it. It teaches him to respect his coaches, regardless, because, again, we don't always agree with coaches and stuff. But the one thing I tell him, you don't ever argue back with a coach. I don't care if he's wrong, if he's right, whatever. Don't argue back with a coach. One, because these kids in this generation, they want to sit there and argue with everything. I'm like, when you get to work and you don't like something your boss is going to tell you, you can't sit there and argue with your boss, okay? You need the job. You're going to need a job to put food on the table. So it's teaching them responsibility too, to get his stuff all together, to be prepared. We talk about school, about grades. Even now, like I said, I love you guys for what y'all do, your podcast. When I hear things, I go back and say, hey, look, they're saying that they look at grades from middle school. This kid said they went back and looked at his middle. He's like, Mom, I'm going to middle school next year. I got to get my, that's right, you got to get your stuff together, little boy.
At 2 o'clock in the morning.
Shout out Josh Larzaba for bringing that up on the second episode, right?
Yeah, second episode.
Yeah.
Second episode.
Yeah, doing well at Rice, so that's a good kid. How about you, man?
I think everything that everybody has said, the friendships, the feeling like part of the family. Shout out to Strike Zone, because my son started off with that coach, and ever since then he showed us that Max had what it took to be part of the select world.
They're a really good team too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They bring, when we know we play against them, when we know who's playing against the Legends, we know we're gonna have to bring our A game.
Good.
Yeah, so
Well, I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. I know it's we're like 2.5 hours into it.
I know we could go on.
Yeah,
and
we
on
could go
and
on and on. It
Oh,
seems
my.
like that. But Junior, you have anything to add on?
No, I appreciate everybody coming out. I know some of you guys had to drive up here
On
through
a
traffic
Friday
and all
night.
that on a Friday night. You could be doing something else, but you know we're doing this out there for the community and our group and our podcast. So I appreciate everybody coming out and thank you.
China View Crusher.
And also, we were supposed to have shirts for you guys or ladies, excuse me.
Oh, we need them.
No, we will give them to you. Just give Junior your
Yes,
information,
and
and we will send
I'll
them
ship
to you.
them to you. You can pick them up.
Yes.
Oh, we'll
yes,
come
yes.
back for another podcast and pick them up.
in May.
Yeah,
They're booked on May.
that'll be in March sometime. So
Well,
no,
we'll do that.
we want you to
Mother's
have a shirt
Day.
beforehand.
Mother's Day.
When is Mother's Day?
May.
We'll be back.
Hey, we're gonna have to delete that.
You forgot.
But I want to thank Bodyguard. Anything you want to say?
You good, Bodyguard?
Okay,
Pearland
thank
Phantom?
you. So shout out to everybody once again. Troy Gonzalez for giving us the. Did y'all get a sandwich? Make sure I get some sandwiches before.
I didn't get nothing from Troy.
No, Troy,
You get a sandwich right here. You get a 6
We
inch.
were late.
Yeah. So.
Fashionably.
So before we go, I want to thank everyone for coming out, especially on this Friday. Hope everybody has a good holiday season, great New Year, Merry Christmas, all that stuff. Want to shout out to my son Brendan and my daughter Brittany because they always tell me I never say hi to them. And then I also want to shout out to I have 2 friends in Laredo. Two friends. Yeah. 2
Merry
Hey,
Christmas,
Laredo.
Crushers.
Yeah.
Y'all have the same problems we have?
No.
Merry Christmas, Crushers. Woo!
So shout out to my friend Ociel and Mariano who are seeing me. And next time I see you guys, I'm gonna body slam both of you little kids. So they like talking mess to me, man, on the phone. But so they're like 300 miles away. So I just want to shout out to them.
Yep.
And so with that being said, I want to thank our sponsors, C4 Bat Company, Issa Cookies, and Ferrari Michelada Mix for
Shout out
giving
to
us
Issa for being able to bake cookies while having 2 kids and going to school.
Yeah, she does well.
Thank you.
She does
Thank
well.
you.
She does well. She does well.
I can barely make dinner.
But shout out to everybody for giving us this platform and this forum for everybody to talk to. So hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Maybe y'all come
did.
back. And if y'all see us at the ballpark, just tell us hi.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, all y'all.
And so
is really
this
good,
this
too,
won't
whatever.
end. We'll keep it going. And so
Congrats to Jordan Brooks for winning.
yeah, thanks for Jordan Brooks, or congratulations to Jordan Brooks.
Everybody entering the contest.
Hopefully, yeah, we had way too many entries on that, but good job on
he
that.
He didn't call in and redraw. Warren Roberts.
So for Julio Ramirez, Junior Aguilar, I'm Steve Medina with the WindUp Media Group, signing off. Everybody have a wonderful Christmas, Happy New Year, and let's go North Shore. Congratulations to Shadow Creek. Hopefully we have the Shadow Creek coaches on and
Yeah,
on the,
we're
on the
supposed
check
to.
down.
We're supposed to.
Especially since they won. So congratulations to them. But everybody be safe going home, and thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Merry
Thanks.
Christmas,
Merry
Legends.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.